Chapter 1784. Remember in 1 second, love divided by you? Read book web, update quickly, no pop-up window, read for free. Sima Yue's figure appeared at the door of the shop, followed by a group of people. Seeing the smiles on those people's faces, Yuan Yen curled his lips. Now, only these merchants in this city will welcome her. I'm curious, what did she buy those things for? Emoji said. You don't think she bought them for herself, do you? Yuan Yen said disdainfully, there are many professional masters in the Duke's mansion. There are also people who purchase these. Emoji said. She is a waste, she doesn't even have spiritual power. Is that so? But, my intuition tells me that she is not that simple. You're not scared by her pretense, are you? Hey, where are you going? Before Yuan Yen finished speaking, Emoji got up and left. I have always investigated the things I am interested in directly. Emoji's voice floated over, and he had already reached the corner of the stairs. Yuan Yen turned his head and glanced at Sima Yue on the street. He was very disgusted and impatient, so he calmed down and didn't move. Sima Yue looked at the people on the street, frowned, and said to Ting Shan, let's go back. Oh look, who is this? When did our waste, Gui Jian Chou, return to the city? The sharp voice was full of contempt and ridicule. Sima Yue looked in the direction of the voice and saw a group of men and women walking on the right side of the street, led by a woman in a red dress. She looks good, but her chin is about to rise to the sky. Sima Yue commented. When the people on the street saw this group of people, they all retreated far away. These people can't be provoked. Especially when these two people are together, if you don't want to be implicated, you must stay far away. Sima Yue looked at the approaching group of people, blinked her eyes, turned her head and asked Ting Shan, who are these flashy people? Everyone, miss, the most flashy person is the eldest daughter of the Dong family, Dong Qi Shuang. The others are her lackeys. Ting Shan answered in all seriousness. The Dong family? Did she dare to provoke me? Sima Yue asked. The Dong clan produced a young lady, who is Wang Ye's favored concubine. Ting Shan said, because of that concubine, the Dong clan's status in vast region also rose a lot. In the past she used to bully Mississippi. But because you don't want Master to confront the Dong family directly and make things difficult for Master, you don't allow us to tell Master every time she bullies us. Because of this, she became even worse. A favored concubine? Sima Yue dragged her words. Have you heard of this saying? The words. Sima Yue smiled faintly. Her red lips parted slightly. When a man achieves the Tao, his friends and family will ascend to the heavens as well. Although their voices weren't loud, they weren't soft either. Anyone with spiritual power could hear them clearly. Murong Shi, what do you mean? Dong Qi Shuang had just walked in front of her. When she heard this, her face twisted in anger. You can't even understand such simple words? Sima Yue asked with a smile. There is a saying that you need to eat more to make up for it. It seems that you need to eat more pig's brains. It was the first time that those people had heard such a curse. They felt that Murong Shi's IQ had increased a lot. Emoji had just arrived at the door of the tea house. When he heard this, he stopped and did not continue to go over. He stopped in place and looked over there. You dare to call me brainless? How could Dong Qi Shuang not understand her meaning? You are the brainless one. Who is and who isn't, everyone can see it very clearly, right? Sima Yue chuckled. One was angry and impatient, the other was calm and elegant. Who was and who wasn't it clear at a glance? Dong Qi Shuang tried to calm herself down, took 2 deep breaths, and snorted coldly. I didn't expect that after staying in the corner of the mountain for a while, your mouth has become so sharp. No, I've always been like this, but I was too lazy to pay attention to you before. Sima Yue said, I think I was wise before. I don't need to pay attention to people like you, it's a waste of my time. Talking to her was a waste of time? Sima Yue didn't want to talk to people like her anymore, so she said to Ting Shan and Ting Shui, let's go back. Stop. Dong Qi Shuang went up and stopped in front of her. What? Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. I didn't provoke you today. If you fight with me, you are the one who is in the wrong. Even if I beat you half to death, your family won't dare to say anything? You do have a good relative, but don't forget, my father is the Duke, and you are still under my father's jurisdiction. Didn't provoke me? You called my Dong family chickens and dogs, isn't this provoking me? Dong Chi Shuang said fiercely, in your words, even if I beat you half to death, your father won't dare to say anything. Are you stupid? Sima Yue rolled her eyes at her. I just happened to say such a sentence today. When a man achieves the Tao, his chickens and dogs also ascend to heaven. Did I say that the chickens and dogs are your Dong family? Maybe I'm talking about him? Maybe it's her? Why are you in such a hurry to put this hat on your Dong family? If you really think so, you can let me stay. If you don't think so, a good dog won't block the way. After saying that, she bypassed Dong Chi Shuang and left. Ting Shan and Ting Shui hurriedly followed. After passing through the crowd, the two finally couldn't help but laugh. Miss scolding people like this was much more handsome than when she was angry and smashed things. When Dong Chi Shuang reacted, Sima Yue had already gone far away. She gritted her teeth and shouted, Sima Yue! Sima Yue just turned the corner with Ting Shan and Ting Shui, leaving everyone a cool back view. Emoji stood at the door and thought for a while, but he didn't go up to look for her. From where he stood, he just saw Sima Yue turn the corner and look back at him. What a keen little girl. When Yuan Yen saw him coming back so quickly, he raised his eyelids and glanced at him. Didn't you go to look for her? I have achieved my goal. Emoji sat back in his seat. Yuan Yen raised his eyebrows. Didn't you not see her? But I already know. Emoji said, although it may only be 4 or 5 points, I can be sure that she is not the person you are talking about. Yuan Yen saw that he was so sure, and he also had some doubts. Judging from her performance just now, the difference is indeed quite big. In the past, she was always angry and bullied by Dong Chi Shuang. She never scolded people with such a sharp tongue. Maybe, her amnesia really changed her personality. Emoji said with a deeper meaning. If only that were the case. She wouldn't pester me anymore. Yuan Yen snorted. Emoji lowered his head to drink tea, and a faint smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Can a person's amnesia really change their personality? Is it a person? He was very curious about what it would be like to really come into contact with her. Maybe, the plan can be changed. Chapter 1785. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Reads book, web quick update, no pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue brought Ting Shan and Ting Shui 2 streets away. After making sure that no one was chasing after them, they heaved a sigh of relief. Phew, luckily they didn't chase after us. Sima Yue heaved a sigh of relief. Miss, aren't you not afraid? Ting Shui was stunned for a moment when she saw Sima Yue like this. How am I not afraid? There are only 3 of us and they have so many people. If we really fight, we will be beaten up. Although we won't die, it will hurt. Sima Yue said, if we can avoid being beaten, then we won't be beaten. Hee hee, that's true. Ting Shui laughed. But miss, why did you buy so many medicinal herbs and array stones? There are medicinal herbs in the residence. The ones I bought are all low-ranked herbs. I'm taking them back to practice. Sima Yue said. Practice? Miss, you want to refine pills? Yes. Miss, this, alchemist, what kind of pills do you want? Just tell the alchemist in the residence. Refining pills is a very dangerous thing. Let's not do this. Ting Shan said. Don't be afraid, it's very simple. Sima Yue didn't think deeply about her meaning, thinking that she was just afraid of the furnace exploding or something. But miss, if you want to refine pills, you have to be able to cultivate first. Ting Shan said again. Sima Yue stopped in her tracks. Yes, what you said is true, we have to cultivate first. Ting Shan was afraid that Sima Yue would suddenly have a scary idea like before, so she wanted to strangle Sima Yue's idea of refining pills in the cradle. When she heard her say this, she thought that she had convinced her, but before she could be happy, she was shocked by Sima Yue's next words. However, we can prepare the things first and practice in 2 days. Ting Shan, miss, are you sure you're not teasing me with that serious look on your face? After returning to the Duke Manor, Ting Shan found some free time to find Murong Hui and told him that Sima Yue wanted to refine pills. After listening, Murong Hui thought for a while and said, "Let her do what she wants to do. If she needs anything, you can tell the manager and let them prepare." Ting Shan thought that Murong Hui would stop it, but she didn't expect that he didn't care. Although he was puzzled, he didn't say anything. "Master, alchemy is very dangerous. Do you really want eldest miss to learn alchemy?" Murong Lin asked. "She knows. She won't take the risk for it. A class equals __CF email _ ref equals /CDNCGI/L/ email protection, datic female equals BA6735 FA710F, email protected. She still had so many things to do, how could she put herself in danger? Moreover, he heard that she was very powerful in the human world, so she should also know how to concoct pills. After spending so much time together, he had some understanding of her. She was not the kind of silly person. After Sima Yue went back, she asked Ting Shan and Ting Shui to clean up a room and set it up as an alchemy room. Then she locked herself inside and didn't come out for 2 days in a row. She didn't even eat, which alarmed Murong Hui. When she came out of the alchemy room safe and sound, what she saw was the person guarding the yard. "Father, why are you here?" she asked in surprise. "Wasn't he very busy? I heard that you didn't come out for 2 days. They thought something happened to you. A class equals __CF email _ ref equals /CDNCGI/L/ email protection, datic female equals 2BF6A46B09, email protected. What are you doing inside?" "Nothing, I just saw those medicinal materials and my hands were itchy, so I forgot the time." Sima Yue said. "It's okay." Murong Hui nodded. "Father, I have something to tell you." Sima Yue looked at him. It was obvious that she wanted to talk alone. Murong Hui waved to the people in the yard. After everyone went down, he asked, "What do you want to say quietly?" "Father, what do you think this is?" She took out an array stone. "Array stone, what's wrong?" "It's just that this array pattern is a bit strange." Murong Hui was not an array master, so he could only recognize it. "Father, stand still." Sima Yue asked him to stand still, then took out a few array stones, arranged an array around him, and then injected her little soul power into it. Black light flowed, and as the array started, Murong Hui felt the spiritual power around him getting stronger and stronger. He was shocked. This is the array. Is it the legendary spirit gathering array?" He looked at the array stones, and it was difficult to hide the excitement in his heart. Vast Region had always been ranked in the middle of their dynasty. The main reason why their strength could not increase was that their spiritual power was thinner. If he had this, then he could quickly train some people. "This is just the simplest spirit gathering array." Sima Yue said, "This range is small, so it seems to have a good effect. But if it is enlarged, the effect will not be so good." Murong Hui was not disappointed. "You said that this is the simplest spirit gathering array, then there are better ones, right?" "But that kind of array stone is better, and secondly, it's best to find the spirit gathering pearl. If we can have this, the effect of the spirit gathering array can be multiplied several times." Sima Yue said. "This spirit gathering array is not so easy to find, right? What does it look like?" Murong Hui asked. "I really don't know about the spirit gathering pearl in the ghost realm." Sima Yue said, "But I think if you look for it, you should be able to find it." "Well, I'll order people to look for it in a while. A class equals __CF email _ ref equals /CDNCGI/L/ email protection, datic female equals 24F9 UB 64 EF91, email protected. This is really timely. With the spirit gathering array, we can get a better ranking in the region competition in the year after next. More than 2 years should be enough. So, Father already has a candidate now." Sima Yue saw him so happy, and a smile appeared on her face. "There are 3 people who don't need to go through the region competition and are directly selected. They have been trained by Father over the years, and their talent and strength are far superior to others. They are my trump card in this region competition. A class equals __CF email _ref equals /CGI/L/ email protection datic female equals 79A4F639B2CC email protected. Originally, I was not confident, but with your spirit gathering array, they have improved a little more in the past 2 years, and we have a better chance. Sima Yue nodded. Since we are going to participate in the region competition, then we have to seize every second. Father, you find some high-level array stones first. I will arrange a better array first, and then let them cultivate inside. When we find the spirit-gathering pearl, we will arrange a better one. Okay, but it's best to keep this matter a secret and arrange the array in Hibiscus Court? Murong Hui suggested. The Hibiscus Court here was the same as the Hibiscus Court in Eternal Brilliant City. They were all places where male companions used to live, and there were still several people living inside. A class equals __CF email _ref equals /CGI/L/ email protection datic female equals 21F61F69D email protected. Prepare to let them go, and then arrange a place for cultivation. Sima Yue had no feelings for Hibiscus Court. She felt that everywhere was the same, so she agreed. So, Murong Hui quickly went to find a high-level array stone and asked her to arrange it in Hibiscus Court. However, she felt nothing, but the 3 geniuses felt insulted. Especially when they were brought to Hibiscus Court without knowing why, their faces were livid with anger. Chapter 1786. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Reads book, net no pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue was setting up a formation in the yard, and when she turned her head, she saw 3 black faces. She raised her eyebrows. How did these 3 people come so quickly? She hadn't even finished setting it up yet. Miss, what do you mean by this? We are going to participate in the region competition as contestants. It's impossible for us to be your concubine. That's right. Although you are a miss, we are not people of the mansion, nor are we people you casually snatched from the outside. You are insulting us by doing this. We must go to the Duke and ask him clearly, what the hell does this mean? Before she could speak, those people angrily scolded her first. Sima Yue rubbed her nose. Did you guys get it wrong? What's wrong? Didn't you ask people to bring us here? Isn't this the place where you keep your concubine? I really didn't ask you to come now. Sima Yue said innocently. She just asked the housekeeper to inform them to come over later, who knew that they would come so early. You're still quibbling. Forget it, Ziping, don't waste time with her, let's go to the Duke and ask for an explanation. You're right, let's go to the Duke. The 3 people finished speaking and were about to leave, but just as they turned around, they saw Murong Hui coming in. Facing Murong Hui, although there was no aggressive momentum, although they were still very angry, they still respectfully saluted. Murong Hui saw that the 3 people were very angry and asked, What's the matter? He looked at Sima Yue, who shrugged her shoulders, curled her lips, and didn't speak. Duke, this Hibiscus Court is the place where Miss Guan keeps her concubine. What does she mean by bringing us here? Don't tell me she wants us to be her concubine. The man named Gu Ziping was the most impulsive and questioned directly. What concubine? She didn't ask you to be her concubine. No? Then why did she call us to Hibiscus Court? The 3 people were stunned. If Sima Yue said no, they would not believe her. But now that the county king had said so, they were a little doubtful. This matter is of great importance. The 3 of you have to swear not to tell anyone. Murong Hui stared at the 3 people. All 3 of them were cultivated by Murong Hui. To put it bluntly, their lives were his. Not to mention keeping today's matter a secret, even if they were asked to be mutes for the rest of their lives, they would not say no. Don't worry, Duke. If we tell anyone about what happened today, we will be struck by lightning. The 3 of them swore together. Unlike the human realm, the people of the ghost race were even more afraid of such oaths, because the heavenly Tao would cleave them clean when they broke the agreement. After Murong Hui and the other three made an oath, Murong Hui said, "We will arrange a spirit gathering array here, which can attract spiritual power from other places and speed up your cultivation." Spirit gathering array? The three of them looked at Murong Hui in shock. "Duke, is it the legendary spirit gathering array?" "Yes. This spirit gathering array has been lost for a long time. If it is announced, you all know how big a wave it will cause." Murong Hui knocked on their heads. "The county competition is about to begin. A stable environment is conducive to your cultivation. With this spirit gathering array, your cultivation will definitely be twice the result with half the effort. Don't waste such a good opportunity." The three of them were excited. They didn't expect that they would be able to use this spirit gathering array one day. "We will cultivate well and live up to the Duke's cultivation," the three of them said in unison. Murong Hui was very satisfied with the attitude of the three people. "Duke, I have one thing I don't understand. Why do you want to arrange a spirit gathering array here?" Gu Zipping asked. "Naturally, it is to avoid people's eyes and ears. A class equals __CF email __ ref equals /seed in CGI /L email protection. The people locked up here have been secretly released. However, no one else knows about it, and no one will know that you are the ones living here. So that's how it is. It seems that I really misunderstood." The three of them scratched their ears, then saluted to Sima Yue and said, "Miss, I'm sorry. We misunderstood you before and were rude to you. Please punish us. Remember to give others a chance to explain next time." Sima Yue didn't generously say that it didn't matter, but the three of them knew that they were wrong and could change their attitude. Have you arranged it?" Murong Hui asked. "2 arrays have been completed. The last one is a little bit away." Sima Yue said, "I was about to do the last bit when they came in." Only then did Gu Zipping and the others notice that she was still holding 2 array stones in her hand. Because they were too angry just now, they didn't notice it. "Duke, this array was arranged by Miss?" "Yes. Otherwise, why do you think she is here?" A class equals __CF email __ ref equals /seed in CGI /L email protection. Datic female equals 01DC 8E41 cab 4. Email protected. Miss is an array master? They hadn't heard of it before. Some things, it's better not to hear rumors. Sima Yue lectured. Although she and Murong she hadn't spoken, she was still Murong Hui's beloved daughter and her own godsister. "Father, I'll go and get the rest done." "Go," Murong Hui said with a smile. He found that as long as he was recognized by her, she would fall in love with him. Gu Zipping and the others were a little unconvinced after being taught a lesson. Although they hadn't had much contact with Murong Shi, they had heard a lot. She was an array master. She even knew the long-lost array? This was too impossible. But when they saw Sima Yue really holding the array and arranging it, the three of them felt that her lesson was right. It was better not to hear rumors. Sima Yue arranged the array and consumed a lot of energy. Her small face was a little pale and her complexion was not good. Murong Hui felt distressed seeing this. "Father, inject your spiritual power here." Sima Yue pointed to a place and said, her strength was very weak and that pitiful amount of spiritual power was not enough to activate such a large array. Murong Hui came to the place where Sima Yue was and injected his spiritual power. The array was activated and covered the front room. Then Sima Yue asked him to activate the other 2 arrays. "There are 3 rooms in this house, 1 for each of you." Sima Yue said, "When my strength increases, I'll upgrade your arrays." "Thank you, Mississippi." Sima Yue didn't embarrass them. Instead, it made their previous behavior seem too rude. Murong Hui saw that her eyes were absent-minded and said, "Take the pill first and then go back and have a good rest. You've been tired for more than 10 days for this array." Sima Yue took the pill and said discouragingly, "My strength is too low now. If my strength increases, it will only take 1 or 2 hours to arrange this array. I miss the days when I had strength." Chapter 1787. In 1 second she remembered, "Love divided by you?" Reads book web no pop-up window. Free to read. Sima Yue returned to her courtyard. It was too difficult for her to set up such a big array. Fortunately, this only consumed her spiritual power, and she could recover after a rest. I don't know if the previous cultivation methods are useful. She muttered to herself. Fortunately, my spiritual power is stronger than the average person, otherwise, I really can't hold on. I remember that every time I used to recover, my spiritual power would increase a lot. Maybe it can be used now. I say, when are you going to find a mineral vein for me to recover my strength? Mi Air came out and stood in front of her bed. He crossed his arms in front of her chest and looked at her discontentedly. My strength is still so weak, I just entered the condensation stage, I can't do anything. Sima Yue said, and this mineral vein is not cabbage on the street, you can get it whenever you want. The mineral veins that have been developed have already been released, it's useless for us to go. Of course I know this, I'm not stupid. Mi Air glared at her. You're not stupid. Sima Yue said, you didn't think about this before, why did you suddenly mention it now? Pumph. Mi Air snorted, turned around and ignored her. This woman, now she didn't even think about helping him to recover his strength. Sima Yue saw him like this, suddenly sat up and looked at him with shining eyes. Do you know where there are undeveloped mineral veins? Humph, you're a little smart. Mi Air was happy and turned to look at her. Then do you know where it is? If there's news, let's go now. Sima Yue was excited. If Mi Air could recover his strength, then she had nothing to be afraid of in the ghost realm. I don't know. Seeing her disappointed eyes, he added, but I sensed it. You didn't sense it when you were in Atavistic Orchid Mountain, but now you sensed it, does it mean it's nearby? It's not very far. Mi Air said, but I feel that a lot of people are going there. I think your father is going there too. Could it be that this is what Dad has been busy with recently? Sima Yue supported her chin with one hand. If it's a mineral vein, it's definitely worth it for him to rush back. You have to help your father find that vein first. Only then will you have a reason to go in openly. Mi Air said, actually if you ask me, you should just go up and devour that force. How good would that be? You'll be discovered by others. Sima Yue sighed. When I recover my strength, I'll go and rescue your mother. What do you think? That way, you won't have to keep thinking about it. We still don't know where Mother is being suppressed, so we have to find the Ghost King. But now is not the time. Sima Yu laid back down. Also, Yin Lin said that only if I go, I can save Mother. Sigh, so troublesome. Mi Air looked at her speechlessly. No matter what, restore my strength first. Sima Yue closed her eyes. I'll talk to Dad about this when I wake up. Before she could finish her sentence, she had already fallen asleep. Mi Air rolled his eyes. When he was about to go back, Little Black pushed the door open. His small body squeezed in through the gap of the door, with a skeleton flute in his mouth. Little Black, you're playing around with this thing again. If you lose it, you will let Little Purple hack you. Mi Air threatened. Little Black placed the skeleton flute on the ground and called out to Mi Air. Then he picked up the flute and went to play with it. When he was tired of playing, he put the flute on his stomach and it disappeared. He patted his stomach with satisfaction. It was filled with his toys. If not for him, Yu's things would be sealed. That was why she wouldn't blame him. Mi Air face-bombed. Why do I have the same contractor as you? It's such a sad thing. Little Black jumped onto Sima Yu's bed and faced him with his butt. Then he found a place to lie down and sleep. Mi Air sighed and returned to Sima Yu's body. Sima Yue slept for 2 days. Ting Shan and Ting Shui received her orders and didn't dare to disturb her. 2 days later, she finally woke up. However, it wasn't because she had enough sleep, but because she was hungry. She touched her rumbling stomach and said regretfully, if I had known, I would have eaten something before sleeping. Without the spirit pagoda, the food she ate now wasn't that delicious. Especially those chefs' culinary skills. Although they were much better than those outside, it couldn't cover up the fact that the food they made was unpalatable. However, she had to eat even if it was unpalatable. She got up and Ting Shan and Ting Shui, who heard the commotion, quickly came in. Ting Shan, help me wash up. Ting Shui, go to the kitchen and see if there's anything to eat. Get some for me. Miss, I'm starving to death. Sima Yuiwe ordered. Okay, this servant will go now. Ting Shui bowed and turned to leave. Ting Shan helped her wash up, and Ting Shui brought the food back. Where's my father? Master went out this morning. Before leaving, he came over and asked this servant to tell Miss that he may not be back for a few days. Ting Shan replied. Did he say what it was about? No. Sima Yue nodded, indicating that she understood, and then sat down to eat. She didn't know if Murong Hui's departure was related to the mineral vein. As the Duke, he must have a lot of things to deal with. Since he would only be away for a few days, she would wait in the house. Ting Shui heard movement outside, went out for a while, and then came in and said, Miss Xiao is here. Ruobai is here? Let her take her to the living room. Sima Yue sped up her eating speed and quickly cleaned up the things in front of her. It wasn't that the food was delicious, but that she was too hungry. After she finished eating, she went to find Xiao Ruobai. Xiao Ruobai was looking at her living room. When she saw her come in, she said, Speaking of which, this is the first time I've entered the Duke's mansion. You're welcome to come often in the future. Sima Yue walked over, sat beside her and asked, Are you almost done with your family? I've been away for a long time. By the time I'm done with those things, it's been so long. Xiao Ruobai sighed. I heard that you and Dong Qishuang quarreled? It's been a few days. Sima Yue did not deny it. When I heard about it, I thought you were quite good. You scolded people without swearing, and she couldn't refute. When a man achieves the Tao, his chickens and dogs ascend to heaven. Your words are really appropriate to describe the Dong family. You came here today to praise me for scolding people well? Of course not, I'm here to take you shopping. Xiao Ruobai said. Sima Yue looked at her, smiled and said, It shouldn't be as simple as shopping this time, right? What other purpose is there? Chapter 1788. Remember in 1 second, love divided by you? Reads book web, update fast, no pop-up window, free to read. Seeing her firm eyes, Xiao Ruobai suddenly smiled, shook her head and said, I really can't hide anything from you. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows, so there was really something. Do you know that there have been a lot of outsiders in Vast City recently? Xiao Ruobai asked. I don't know. Vast City is the prefecture of Vast Region. It's normal for there to be outsiders, right? Sima Yue disagreed. If that's the case, my grandfather and the others won't be so nervous. Xiao Ruobai sighed. Actually, they asked me to come over today to see if you have any news here. But I think you just came back, so you don't know anything. So I proposed to walk on the street, maybe you can find out some news. If you can get the news by walking around, won't they know why? Sima Yue said. That's true. Xiao Ruobai said, but since we're here, let's just go shopping. You're not familiar with Vast City, right? I'll take you to familiarize yourself with it. Xiao Ruobai said. Sima Yue didn't refuse. She didn't go to many places last time. Now that Murong Hui was not at home, it was good to go out. When Ting Shui heard that she decided to go out, she went to report to Murong Lin. Murong Lin didn't care about Sima Yue's itinerary, but knowing that she was going outside, he would pay more attention to her safety. When they were about to leave the yard, Little Black ran out and barked twice at Sima Yue. You play at home. Sima Yue said with her head down. Woo woo woo. Little Black bit the corner of her skirt, looking like he wouldn't let her go if she didn't take him. This little guy is still like this. Xiao Ruobai saw Little Black's shameless look and missed him being silly in atavistic Orchid Mountain. No. Sima Yue said, what if you don't behave when you go out? Woo woo woo, no. Really? Little Black nodded vigorously. All right then. Sima Yue agreed. Little Black immediately let go of her skirt. Blackie usually played in the residence, so it was his first time out on the streets. Everything he saw was new to him. He scratched here and there, as if he was a human. Sima Yue and Xiao Ruobai followed behind and looked at it speechlessly. However, it only went around and didn't do anything to hurt others, so it didn't care. People on the street were angry when they saw Little Hay causing trouble, but they didn't dare to say anything when they saw Sima Yue following behind. The spirit cloth in this shop is quite good. Let's go in and have a look. Xiao Ruobai took her to a shop that sold clothes. All right. Sima Yue called Little Hay back and brought it into the shop. Xiao He was so fast that the people guarding the door couldn't stop him before he rushed in. Sima Yue and Xiao Ruobai were stopped outside. My young miss is inside. You can't go in. The person at the door stretched out his hand and said with a cold face, "The door is open. Why can't we go in?" Xiao Ruobai was a little surprised and looked at a waiter on the side. The waiter knew Xiao Ruobai and Sima Yue. He hurried forward and explained with a smile, "Princess, young Miss Xiao, I'm really sorry. Today, young Miss Dong came and booked the entire shop, so business is suspended today." Suspended? When did your iridescent clouds pavilion start to be booked? Xiao Ruobai asked. It's not a booking. My young master is entertaining a friend. The waiter explained. One moment, you said that young Miss Dong booked the whole place, and the next moment, you said that your young master is entertaining a friend. Your words don't match. Do you think we are easy to fool? Xiao Ruobai said with a cold face. Young Miss Xiao, don't be angry. I'm not talking nonsense. Our iridescent clouds pavilion usually doesn't allow people to book the whole place. It's because young Miss Dong is a friend of my young master that we gave her face and let them book the whole place. The waiter smiled apologetically. I'm really sorry about today. Come another day. Our shop has a 20% discount. Young Miss Dong? Dong Qishuang? Sima Yue asked. No, Dong Qishuang doesn't have such a big face. With such a big lineup, I think most likely Dong Qilian is back. Xiao Ruobai snorted coldly. Only that woman likes to pay attention to these things. Who is Dong Qilian? Sima Yue asked. Young Miss Dong, Dong Qishuang's sister. She has the best talent among the younger generation of the Dong family. She has a good relationship with the Dong family's concubine and often runs to the prince's mansion to stay. When we first came back, I heard that she was still in the prince's mansion. I didn't expect her to come back so soon. Xiao Ruobai said. Then before Sima Yue could finish her words, there was a scream from inside. Where did this dog come from? Kill it for me. Then there was a chaotic sound and Xiao He's cry. Kill it for me. What are you still doing? Don't you know that my sister hates dogs the most? Why did you let that dog in? Dong Qishuang's voice was as sharp as ever. Young miss, second young miss, we don't know how it got in. We will drive it out now. What are you rushing for? Kill it on the spot. A female voice gritted her teeth. It sounded like Dong Qilian. Sima Yue and Xiao Ruobai heard the movement inside and rolled their eyes helplessly. I forgot that Dong Qilian was chased by many stray dogs when she was young, so she hated dogs since she was young. When she saw Xiao He, I'm afraid. Xiao Ruobai said with some worry. Woof woof woof. Xiao He's cheerful cry came, as if he was not hurt by so many people inside. Xiao Ruobai saw that Sima Yue did not intend to go in, so she was not anxious and asked, Aren't you worried about Xiao He? What's there to worry about? It won't be the one who will suffer. Sima Yue was very calm. Xiao Ruobai wanted to ask where she got her confidence from, but listening to the movement inside, it seemed that Xiao He was indeed fine. Wasn't Xiao He an ordinary dog? Was it so powerful that it could escape from so many people inside? Bang, bang, ah, the people inside were in a mess, and the people guarding outside were worried and ran in to help. Now that no one is stopping us, let's go in and take a look. Sima Yue strode in after saying that. What kind of dog is this? How can it be so fast? Every time they were about to catch it, it could slip away. Was such a speed really something a dog could do? Are you all a bunch of trash? So many people can't deal with a dog? Why did my Dong family raise a bunch of trash like you? Sima Yue walked in and saw Dong Qishuang and a woman who looked similar to her, and a very good-looking man standing on the side. In the shop, a group of people fell to the ground, and a few were chasing Xiao Hei around. Chapter 1789. 1 second to remember, love divided by you? Reads book web, update fast, no pop-up window, free to read. Xiao Ruobai looked at the scene here and was amused. Especially the guards of the Dong family all over the ground, and Dong Qilian's frightened look. She laughed until she couldn't stand up straight. When Yuan Yen saw Sima Yue, he frowned, and the disgust in his eyes was undisguised. Dong Qi Shuang saw Sima Yue and Dong Qi Shuang, and shouted, "Murong Shi, what are you doing here?" Sima Yue didn't want to pay attention to this kind of idiot. Seeing that Xiao Hei was almost done playing, she called out, "Xiao Hei, come back." Xiao Hei was playing hide and seek with the people who were chasing him. When he heard Sima Yue's call, he rushed over like lightning and threw himself into her arms. "Are you hurt?" Sima Yue touched Xiao Hei's body to check if he was injured, ignoring those people. "This dog is yours?" Dong Qi Shuang looked at Sima Yue and asked. "Yes. So many of you are surrounding my puppy to kill, I will definitely tell my father. This is a precious breed that he found for me for a long time, and it was almost killed by you. I don't know what explanation the Dong family is going to give me." Sima Yue asked, "You still want to ask us for an explanation? You scared my sister like this, and you don't obediently hand over your dog, and you still dare to ask for an explanation? I have never seen such a shameless person like you. You want to kill my dog, shouldn't you ask for an explanation?" Sima Yue asked. "Are you trying to reason with us? Your dog appeared and scared my sister, so we naturally have to kill it." Dong Qi Shuang said. "My puppy appeared and scared your sister, so you want to kill it. Then your appearance scared me, can I also kill you?" Sima Yue asked. "How can that be the same?" Dong Qi Shuang shouted, "What is the identity of the dog? What is my identity? You dare to compare me with it?" Sima Yue suddenly realized, "You're right, you can't be compared. You're far worse than my puppy. Comparing you to it, isn't that lowering its status?" Xiao Ruobai burst out laughing. Seeing Dong Qi Shuang's angry face, she waved her hand and said apologetically, "I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. It would have been better if she didn't explain." Once she did, Dong Qi Shuang became even angrier. "Murong Shi, I didn't expect that after not seeing you for a few years, you've become so sharp-tongued." Dong Qilian saw that Sima Yue was completely different from before. She couldn't even scold Dong Qi Shuang and said, "Who are you? I'm sorry, I don't know most people." Sima Yue curled her lips and looked down on Dong Qilian. "Murong Shi, I know you have lost your memory, but you don't have to pretend. Today's matter was caused by your underworld beast. You must give us an explanation today." Dong Qilian said, "Otherwise, we will definitely go to the Duke to ask for an explanation." "Sure. Go ahead. I'd like to see what my father will say to you if you kill my puppy indiscriminately." Sima Yue wasn't worried and gently stroked Xiao Hei's back. "Even if this matter is brought to Wang Ye, you are still in the wrong. How are we indiscriminately? It's obvious that your puppy scared my sister." Dong Qi Shuang cried. "But my puppy didn't attack her. She just walked around the shop and didn't even touch the corner of your sister's clothes, right? If she was scared, then the reason should be found from your sister. If she wasn't timid, how could she be scared by herself? So the reason is still you." Sima Yue retorted unhurriedly. "This place has been booked by us, so it's better for anyone to enter. If you didn't order your underworld dog to suddenly appear, how could the following things happen? Then you can't blame me for this matter." Sima Yue said innocently. "You said that it was because no one was allowed to enter that caused today's incident. But you only stipulated that people can't come in, but you didn't say that underworld beasts can't enter, right? In that case, the puppy can come in at will." Cough cough. Xiao Ruobai tried to control herself not to laugh, but her body really betrayed her completely. Sima Yue glanced at her and continued, "If you didn't stop me and Ruobai outside, and I caught up with my puppy, she wouldn't have suddenly appeared and scared your sister. In that case, if you want to blame someone, You can only blame the 2 guards at the door. Right? Right? Right, your big head. You are twisting words. Dong Chi Shuang didn't think of how to refute. She stomped her feet and shouted angrily. How am I twisting words? What I said is very reasonable, okay? Sima Yue said, if you didn't stop me, would my puppy run in by itself? If it wasn't for your sister's timidity, and my puppy didn't attack her, would she be scared? You wanted to kill it, so it naturally ran away. Do you want to blame it for this? Of course. Yes, if it was just an ordinary underworld dog, if its owner was just an ordinary person, in front of the strength of your Dong family, it is indeed guilty. But unfortunately, its owner happens to be me. Sima Yue said, what should I do? You want to kill me, but you don't dare. After all, this is in broad daylight, in front of everyone. My Duke manner is not so easy to provoke. You are very confident that we can't do anything to you today? Dong Qilian said. It's a pity that you met me today. Go, kill that underworld dog for me. Dong Qilian ordered her guard. That guard stood up and prepared to attack Sima Yue. Let me tell you, my sister has already received Wang Ye's recognition and directly obtained the right to participate in the dynasty competition. You are just a duke's daughter, how can you compare to my sister? Go, kill that underworld dog. If she can't bear to, then kill them together. After receiving the order, that guard looked at Sima Yue with a murderous gaze. Sima Yue stroked Little Black and said, Sigh, even the duke's daughter is so pitiful, what should we do? Are the 2 of us going to be killed today? Woof woof woof, Little Black barked at her twice. Sima Yue smiled and said, our Little Black has grown up and knows how to protect me. So obedient. Just do whatever you want to do. Go, kill them. Dong Chi Shuang saw that Sima Yue was not afraid at all. She looked so carefree as if she was a clown, and the anger in her heart burned even brighter. Go. Sima Yue patted Little Black. A black shadow flashed in front of everyone's eyes, followed by a scream. That guard had only taken 2 steps forward before he fell down. Black blood spurted out and splashed in front of Dong Qilian and her sister. Chapter 1790. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Reads book web no pop-up window, free to read. For a time, everyone in the room was stunned, and the way they looked at Little Black changed again and again. A dog actually had such combat power? That was an underworld master, Dong Qilian's personal bodyguard. How could he be bitten to death by a dog without any spiritual power? Did they see wrongly just now? Woof woof woof, Little Black barked twice at the dead man on the ground, triumphant. Little guy, you dare to kill your grandfather? Let's see what you can do. Sima Yue did not expect that Little Black would bite someone to death in an instant. She was not worried about making a big deal out of it, but if Little Black was exposed in front of others, it would attract others' attention. Xiao Ruabai stared at Little Black with wide eyes. Where did you get this dog? It's so powerful. Tomorrow, I'll get someone to get me one too. Blackie doesn't have any spirit energy. It's just that its speed is faster and its teeth are sharper. Sima Yue waved at Blackie and it ran over. Woof woof woof, Little Black barked twice at Sima Yue, quite eager to take credit. Well, you did well. I'll cook something delicious for you when we get back. Sima Yue picked up Little Black and prepared to leave. Stop! Dong Chi Shuang and the others came back to their senses. Their own people were killed, how could they let them go like this? What? How many more masters do you want to lose? Sima Yue stroked Little Black. If you want, I don't mind Little Black biting a few more people to death. Dong Chi Shuang, today's matter is clearly your own responsibility, and now you want to blame it on us. It depends on whether we are willing or not. Xiao Ruabai said, She is the daughter of the Duke. Does your Dong family want to rebel? My sister has already obtained the qualification for the dynasty competition. How dare a piece of trash compare with my sister? Dong Chi Shuang clamored. I don't want to be mentioned in the same breath as a white lotus, it lowers my style. Sima Yue said, if you don't want to die like this person on the ground, it's best not to move. Goodbye, let's go. After saying that, she hugged Xiao He and left Iridescent Cloud's pavilion with Xiao Rubai. Seeing that Dong Qilian didn't stop her, Dong Qi Shuang stomped her feet and shouted, "Sister, are we just going to let her leave like this?" Dong Qilian's eyes darkened. Did he think he would be unscathed after provoking her? How could she allow such a thing to happen? However, she was now with Yuan Yen, so it was not good to be too ruthless. Let's just forget about this matter. Who asked her to be the Duke's daughter? You dispose of the body. She glanced at Yuan Yen with a little grievance, hoping to get sympathy from him. However, Yuan Yen didn't pay attention to her at all, but looked at the gate thoughtfully. She hasn't looked at him alone since she came in just now. Even if she glanced at him when she first came in to assess the situation, it was as if she was looking at a stranger. Did she really change her temperament and no longer like good-looking men? Dong Qilian looked at Yuan Yen in a daze and didn't pay attention to herself at all, and asked, "Young Master Yuan, what are you looking at?" Yuan Yen returned to his senses and saw Dong Qilian's curious gaze. He felt a burst of chagrin in his heart. How could he be distracted thinking about that guy? Nothing, I just feel that this Murong Shi is different. He put away his thoughts and said faintly, "I'm really sorry about today's matter, it has dirted your place." Dong Qilian smiled, "Let someone calculate these dirted spirit cloths and report it to our house." "No need, my Iridescent Clouds pavilion can still afford this loss. Besides, she doesn't blame you for this matter. It can't be counted on the Dong family." Yuan Yen had a faint smile on the corner of his mouth, which was both decent and distant. It was a typical businessman-like smile. But if you look carefully, you will find that the smile didn't reach the bottom of his eyes at all. When Dong Qilian heard him say this, the smile on her face became more real. "Although this matter was caused by Murong Shi's dog, if it weren't for my fear, it wouldn't have become like this, so I still have my reasons." Yuan Yen suddenly felt that Dong Qilian's artificial style was a little painful to look at, and nodded. "Since Miss Dong said so, shopkeeper, calculate the loss and report half of it to the Dong family." "Miss Dong, I still have something to do, so I'll take my leave first." When Yuan Yen said this, Dong Qilian was stunned. She didn't have time to stop him, and watched him leave the shop blankly. He just left like that? By the time she came to her senses, the smile on her face had disappeared. How can he be like this? "Sister, how can this young Master Yuan leave you and leave by himself? How can he be like this?" Dong Qi Shuang spoke out Dong Qilian's thoughts, but unconsciously through her sister's face again. He should have something to do. Dong Qilian saw that he was gone, and she was not as kind to the people of Iridescent Cloud's pavilion as before. She instructed the shopkeeper, "Shopkeeper, after calculating the money, just send it directly to the Dong family. Let's go." The shopkeeper of Iridescent Cloud's pavilion looked at the blood on the ground. While letting people clean it up, he also let people calculate the loss just now. He muttered in his heart that this young master didn't seem to be very good with Miss Dong. Why did he agree to let her book the whole place? Moreover, he only said to send half of it to the Dong family. He didn't say whether the remaining half should be sent to the Junwang mansion. Then, should the Junwang mansion bear this half? Thinking of the young master looking at Sima Yuyue's back in a daze, the shopkeeper still felt that the young master didn't seem to be angry with her, so the remaining half shouldn't be sent over. It's really strange, doesn't the young master hate Murong Shi very much? Why don't I feel that way? He muttered in a low voice, instructed those people again, and turned back to the inner hall. Yuan Yen didn't know what was wrong with him. Why did he follow Sima Yu and the others out again? Obviously, one of the tasks given to him by the family was to have a good relationship with Dong Qilian, but for some reason he left the people he wanted to befriend and followed the people he hated. After he followed Sima Yue for a long time, he realized what he was doing. Why did he follow her? Was it because he didn't see panic on her face when he came out, but she was talking and laughing with Xiao Ruabai, so he was led by that smile? But why? "No, I'm only interested in that dog of the underworld," he said to himself, and followed her with a clear conscience. And he was not the only one who was interested in Xiao He. After Dong Qilian came out of Iridescent Cloud's pavilion, she instructed the people around her, "Send someone to find out what's going on with that dog." After finding out, kill Murong Shi for me. Chapter 1791. Remember in a second, love divided by you? Reads book web, update quickly, no pop-up window, read for free. Sima Yue took Xiao Ruobai into a small alley. Yuan Yen hesitated for a moment, but still followed them in. He didn't expect to see two people and a dog staring at him as soon as he entered. Brother, you have been following us all the way. Do you want us to compensate for the loss of Iridescent Cloud's pavilion? Sima Yue asked. Aye. Yuan Yen opened his mouth, wanting to say that it was not like this, but what about later? Why did he follow them? Don't you remember me? Should I know you? Sima Yue looked at him with doubts in her eyes, but her eyes were clear. I am Yuan Yen. Yuan Yen said. Young Master Yuan. Sima Yue nodded politely. The other party was still polite at the moment, so she didn't have to be too tit-for-tat. Xiao Ruobai on the side thought of something and whispered, Hiss, you are Yuan Yen. You are that Yuan Yen? You know him? Sima Yue looked at her. What do you mean you are that Yuan Yen? Could it be that Yuan Yen is still that Yuan Yen? Xiao Ruobai twitched the corners of her mouth and said, He is the young master of the Yuan family who was molested by you and made you unable to go to the UNG tea house to drink tea. It's him? Sima Yue glared at Yuan Yen. Well, I was young and ignorant before and offended you a lot, but it's been so long you don't have to settle accounts with me, right? Yuan Yen looked at her. The surprise in her eyes was real, and the slight embarrassment was also real. Coupled with this appearance, it actually made him feel that her face was unprecedentedly pleasing to the eye. I'm not looking for you to settle accounts with you, he said, seeing her obvious relief, and the corners of his mouth raised slightly. Then why did you follow us all the way? If you want to find losses, go to Miss Dong. Anyway, you have a good relationship. Sima Yue blurted out. I don't have a good relationship with her. Yuan Yen explained subconsciously. Only when he said it did he feel that his behavior was inappropriate, but he didn't know why. He just didn't want her to misunderstand. It's just that we have met in the King City. She has some connections with the family, so I made an exception to entertain her. Then you want me to compensate you? I'm very poor and have no money to give you. Sima Yue thought about her own property. The money was given by Murong Hui, not her own, so she really had no money. However, if she knew about Xiao Hei's treasure chest, she wouldn't think that way. I didn't want you to pay for it. Yuan Yen smiled. Then why are you following us? Sima Yue was surprised. Yuan Yen wanted to say that he didn't know why he followed her. He obviously hated her so much before. Seeing little black struggling in her arms, he thought of a reason. I saw that your contracted beast was very powerful, not like an ordinary underworld dog at all, so I wanted to take a look, he said. Sima Yue hugged Xiao Hei tightly and instinctively took a step back, saying, Don't even think about snatching my puppy away. I'm not trying to snatch it. If I really wanted to snatch it, I wouldn't have appeared in front of you. Yuan Yen explained, I'm just curious about it. An underworld dog with no spiritual power fluctuations actually bit an underworld master to death. This would indeed make people very curious. Really? Sima Yue narrowed her eyes and stared at him. That gaze made him feel that if he had any thoughts about this underworld dog, she would not hesitate to kill him. Really? I'm just curious and want to take a closer look, he promised. Sima Yue stared at him for a long time and said, Well, I'll show you. Come here. Originally, she wouldn't pay much attention to such a person, but thinking that Murong she had once flirted with him, she stared at her identity and could help her resolve some grievances. Yuan Yen saw her waving to him, and he really walked over, without any defense against her at all. Look, my puppy is really nothing special, it's just faster and its teeth are sharper. Sima Yue put Xiao Hei in Yuan Yan's hand. Xiao Hei wanted to protest, but she glared back. Yuan Yen hugged Xiao Hei and stared at him with dog eyes. Xiao Hei also barked at him twice. Is there really nothing special? It's just faster? He checked Xiao Hei and found that it really had no spiritual power. Sima Yue took Xiao Hei from his arms and said, Haven't you heard of the saying, in the world of martial arts, only speed is unbreakable? If Xiao He didn't have such speed, even if its teeth were sharp, it wouldn't have been able to kill that underworld master. It would have been killed by the other party before it even got close. Well, you've seen it. Don't hate she anymore. Goodbye. She was talking about she, not me. That sentence was said for Murong Shi. Yuan Yen didn't chase after them this time, and watched them leave in a daze. In the world of martial arts, only speed is unbreakable. He murmured and repeated her words. Suddenly, he was enlightened, and the bottle that had been trapping him loosened. He immediately rushed back. After Xiao Ruobai left the alley, she was still thinking about what Sima Yue said. You're right, in the world of martial arts, only speed is unbreakable. If we can be faster than others when using underworld skills, then we can seize the opportunity and win first. She said, so, when we cultivate, not only do we have to improve our level, but also improve our speed. I seem to understand something. In fact, many people understand this truth, but everyone always forgets it inadvertently. Sima Yue said. Xiao Ruobai suddenly stopped and said, I seem to be about to advance. Why are you suddenly advancing? Sima Yue asked. I could have advanced before, but I haven't been able to comprehend it enough. Now, with your pointers, then go back quickly, don't miss the opportunity. I'll go back by myself. With Little Black, I'll be fine. Sima Yue said. Xiao Ruobai thought about it and said, I'll apologize to you later. Then she quickly left. Sima Yue didn't know that a simple sentence of hers that couldn't be more ordinary would actually allow two people to successfully advance in rank. She put Little Black on the ground and said, let's go back too? Woof woof woof, Little Black barked twice. Sima Yue looked forward and saw an enchanting man looking at her. She was not unfamiliar with this person. She saw him on the day she quarreled with Dong Qishuang. He had been looking at her, just like now. I didn't know that the daughter of the County Wangye could say such a thing, and let people comprehend the truth and break through the bottle. Emoji said, who are you? Sima Yue stroked the anxious Little Black. You're waiting for me here, what's the matter? Nothing, I just want to know you. I'm talking about you, not the daughter of the county king. Emoji smiled. Sima Yue looked at him, and her heart sank. Who is he? Does he know my identity? Chapter 1792. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Reads book, web no pop-up window. Free to read. Sima Yue looked at Emoji vigilantly, mentally estimating the possibility of quietly killing him. You are not Murong Shi. Emoji did not answer her question. He was not anxious about the killing intent in her eyes. He seemed very calm, and the smile on the corner of his mouth did not change. If I am not Murong Shi, who am I? Sima Yue did not admit it. Did we know each other before? I don't know who you are, but I know you are not Murong Shi. A person, even if they lose their memory, will not change their temperament. Emoji said affirmatively, or, you can tell me who you are. I am Murong Shi. She said, if you say so. Emoji did not care about her answer. Anyway, I know it in my heart. Then what are you talking about? She felt that this person was a little inexplicable. His strength did not seem to be low, so it should be difficult to kill him quietly. Since he did not know her identity, then forget it, let him live. She held Xiao He, bypassed him and walked away. We will meet again. As she passed by him, he said something meaningful. Sima Yue smiled at him, not even bothering to say goodbye. Emoji looked at her back as she left. The smile on the corner of his mouth did not diminish. So she really... Old ancestor, you really know me. Sima Yue had already left, so she didn't see the scene where he left silently. She left with Xiao He. In view of today's matter, she really wanted to throw Xiao He into the spirit pagoda, but Xiao He was having fun and refused to go in at all. What made her collapse was that she found that the spirit pagoda was damaged. She did not have the strength, so she could not forcibly take Xiao He into the spirit pagoda. Therefore, Xiao He was unwilling to go back. She could only watch it run happily on the street, looking here and there, not realizing that it had been targeted. In the end, under her coercion, it finally reluctantly followed her back. However, at that time, the sky was already dark. As soon as she got home, the housekeeper Murong Lin walked over and said anxiously, "Miss, you're back." Sima Yue rarely saw him like this. She thought that something had happened to Murong Hui. Her heart sank and she asked, "What's wrong? Did something happen to father?" "It's not master, it's..." Murong Lin glanced at Sima Yue. "Someone sent a gift to Mississippi. A gift for me?" Sima Yue looked at him in surprise. "Are you sure it's for me?" Murong Lin saw that Sima Yue was so surprised and knew that she didn't know either. He said, "In the afternoon, someone sent a gift over and indicated that it was for Mississippi. I opened it and took a look. The thing's inside. You'd better take a look yourself." Sima Yue had a bad premonition when she saw the butler's expression. She followed him to the hall. The butler dismissed everyone, then took out a black wooden box and handed it to Sima Yue. Sima Yue took the box and opened it. When she saw what was inside, her eyes widened and she said incredulously, "How could it be?" Murong Lin had been looking at Sima Yue and saw all her reactions. Seeing that her surprise was not disguised, he said, "I was also very surprised when I saw it. Miss, do you know who gave you the gift?" "I just came to Liao City. Where do I know a few people?" Sima Yue shook her head. "Could it be those two masters?" Murong Lin guessed. Sima Yue denied. "They have all left. Even if they have secretly arranged to keep an eye on us, the matter of us arranging the spirit gathering array will not be passed to them so quickly, and they will find the spirit gathering pearls so quickly." Yes, the black box contained the spirit gathering pearl. They were looking for the spirit gathering pearl. But who knew that they were using the spirit gathering array and that they needed the spirit gathering pearl? It was terrifying to think about it. No wonder Murong Lin's face changed. This was their secret. Now it was known by others, and it was specifically given to her. This was even more strange. Because she only had one friend here, Xiao Ruabai, but it was obviously not from her. Emoji's shadow appeared in Sima Yue's mind. She didn't know why, but she felt that this should be given by him. "Miss, the person who sent this thing..." Murong Lin was very worried. Sima Yue put away the thing and said, "Since this thing has been sent here, it means that the other party already knows about the spirit gathering array. But choosing this way means that the other party will not say it out. So it seems that the other party has no malice for the time being. Then this thing, since it has been sent here, it would be a waste not to use it." Sima Yue said, "I will upgrade their spirit gathering array in a while." Murong Lin wanted to say that the other party's identity was unknown, so this thing should be treated with caution, but seeing that Sima Yue didn't care, he took it back. "Housekeeper, you know?" Sima Yue wanted to inquire about Emoji's identity from the housekeeper, only to realize that she didn't know Emoji's name, so she described Emoji's appearance. "I don't know when there was such a person in Vast City." Murong Lin thought about it, and really didn't think of such a person in Vast City. "Is this person the one who sent the gift?" "I think it's probably the case." Sima Yue said, "Since you don't know, then you don't have to worry about it. I will deal with this matter. You go do other things." Murong Lin responded and left. Sima Yue opened the box and looked at the 3 spirit gathering pearls inside. She was not as calm as she looked on the surface. This person's aura is more mysterious than others, but there is a sense of familiarity. He knows that I need the spirit gathering pearls, which means that he knows the City Lord mansion like the back of his hand. She looked at the spirit gathering pearls. From today's meeting, this person is not so easy to deal with. It's really uncomfortable to have so many uncertainties around us. The next time they meet, she must figure out his identity. If it was a dangerous factor, then it must be pulled out as soon as possible. However, with Mi Er's current situation, she didn't know if he could deal with it. The most important thing now is to find that mineral vein and restore its strength. Then it's time to cultivate my soul and touch the seal in my body. She slammed the box shut. "Now, let's use this thing. It's a waste not to use it." She went to Hibiscus Court and put the spirit-gathering pearls into the spirit-gathering array. In order to cooperate with this, she also made a small change to the array. In this way, the spirit-gathering effect was several times faster than before. In the next few days, she had been cultivating in seclusion. Later, Xiao Ruobai came to find her once and expressed her gratitude. But she didn't stay for long. When she broke through to the middle stage of the body condensation stage, Mu Ruobai was stunned. A class equals __cf email _ ref equals /cdncgi /l email protection datic female ed 3062 add 3f5f email protected is back. Miss Ting Shui ran in from outside the yard, and Ting Shan just came out of the house. Seeing her running in a hurry, she reprimanded, "You be steady, don't scare miss." "No, that something happened." Ting Shui ran too anxiously, and her words were incoherent. "What happened? Why are you so anxious?" It's master, what happened to my father?" Sima Yue opened the door, looked at Ting Shui, and asked in a deep voice. "Master is injured, and he is calling the doctor over. It seems to be very serious, I don't know." "Hey miss, master is in his yard." Before Ting Shui finished speaking, Sima Yue's shadow had disappeared. Sima Yue ran to Murong Hui's yard in one breath, and the first thing she saw was Murong Lin, who came out anxiously. "Uncle Lin, how is my father?" "Young miss, old master's injuries are very serious. The doctors in the manor are treating him, but we have already sent someone to invite Master Fu, the most skilled doctor in the city. We hope that he will treat old master on account of their past friendship." Murong Lin did not hide anything from Sima Yue. He knew that she would not be like Murong Shi, who would only lose control and do bad things. "Even the doctors in the mansion are useless? Is father hurt so badly?" Sima Yue whispered, "I'll go and see." "Miss, several doctors are inside. It's useless for you to go in." Murong Lin pulled her and did not let her go in to make trouble. Housekeeper! Housekeeper!" A guard ran in from outside and saw Murong Lin, and said breathlessly, Master Fu is not in the city." "What? Where did he go?" Murong Lin shouted. "Without Master Fu, and the doctors inside were not good, who else could save Master? Master Fu was in the city 2 days ago, and now I don't know where he went." The guard said. "What did you say?" "Master Fu is not here." "How is this possible? The second housekeeper just came out of the house. Do the guards know that you are from the Duke's mansion?" "Of course they know." The guard wanted to say that what he asked was nonsense. They were wearing the guard's clothes of the city lord's mansion. Who in Liao City didn't know that they were from the city lord's mansion? "The best doctors in the city are already inside. Now we can't find Master Fu. Who can save Master? How could Master Fu go out of the city at this time? Could this be deliberately arranged by someone?" The second housekeeper said. "Now we can't take care of that. You send someone to find him. You must find Master Fu. Once you find him, you must tie him up for me. Go." Sima Yue was worried in her heart and stopped listening to these words. She bypassed them and entered Murong Hui's room. As soon as she entered, she did not see Murong Hui, but saw 7 or 8 doctors surrounding his bed, so that she could not see the situation inside. However, those doctors did not play any role there, and they just said some of their own guesses. Some people talked about how to deal with the injury on Murong Hui's hand, some people talked about how to repair his liver, but they couldn't even do the most basic hemostasis. Murong Lin also followed in. Seeing them like this, he smelled the strong smell of blood in the room and shouted, "You can't treat trauma, but don't you even know the most basic hemostasis? Housekeeper Lin, it's not that we don't know how, but the Duke is poisoned. His blood can't be coagulated at all." A doctor said. "Poisoned?" "Yes. Without the antidote for this poison, there is no way to stop the bleeding. But we have used various methods to greatly reduce the Duke's bleeding. Useless waste, get out of here." Sima Yue saw Murong Hui wrapped like a dumpling and was furious and shouted at the doctor in the room. Her roar made the room quiet down instantly. "Uncle Lin, Get these useless wastes out of here. Sima Yue told Murong Lin. Miss, those doctors had always been respected, but they were actually pointed to the nose by Sima Yue and scolded as wastes. They were so angry that they couldn't speak. Miss. Murong Lin was also surprised. If there were no these people, what would the master do? Uncle Lin. Sima Yue looked at Murong Lin. The latter saw her fierce eyes and said to the other doctors, since the miss has spoken, you all go out. Murong Lin, she is fooling around. Can't you tell what's important? If you drive us out, what about the Duke? Father has been back for almost half an hour. Do you have any use? Get out of here. Sima Yue really didn't like these doctors at all. They couldn't treat the Duke. Before they thought of a way to detoxify the Duke, they even stood by the bed and talked loudly, flaunting that they were already very powerful. This kind of person was painful to look at. When Murong Lin heard what she said, he thought about it and drove all those people out. The doctors were angry, but they were still driven out of the room. Murong Lin closed the door, turned around and saw Sima Yue sitting by the bed, took out scissors, cut off all the bandages on Murong Hui's body and exclaimed, Miss, what are you doing? These are useless. Sima Yue's hands moved quickly, and in a few moves, all the bandages were removed. Murong Lin looked at her and didn't know if he should stop her. Come and help me. Move the stool over first. Sima Yue saw him in a daze and ordered. Murong Lin didn't know why, but he waved his hand, sucked the stool over there, and put it beside her. Sima Yue took out the box containing the silver needles, opened it, and all the silver needles inside were exposed. When Murong Lin saw those silver needles, he also understood that she wanted to give them to Mu personally. A class equals __cf email _ref equals /cgi/l/email protection datic female equals B76A-76110E661D email protected. Sima Yue inserted the silver needles into Murong Hui's acupoints one by one, and his bleeding wound slowly stopped bleeding. At this time, she was extremely glad that she was promoted a few days ago, and the sealed power was automatically unsealed, which improved her soul power. Her strength improved, and the soul pagoda was further unsealed, revealing more and more things. The silver needle was one of them. After a while, the blood on Murong Hui's body had completely stopped, and Murong Lin was very happy. Miss, has the master's poison been detoxified? He didn't know much about the silver needle technique, so he didn't know the role of the silver needle. Thinking that those pharmacists said that the blood couldn't stop without detoxification, he thought that the silver needle was really so magical. Sima Yue pulled out the silver needle, took out a handkerchief, and wiped the blood off Murong Hui's face. The poison hasn't been detoxified yet. I just used the silver needle to seal these places, so I can stop the bleeding temporarily. You stay here. I need some time to study the poison in my father's body. After that, she left the room with a bloody handkerchief and ordered that no one was allowed to go in, and violators would be killed. Chapter 1793. Male sign Sima Yue went to the next room, set up the enchantment, got into the spirit pagoda, and began to study the poison in his body. Whenever this happened, she was very glad that she had learned a lot of things about the ghost world because of her mother. She was studying poison in the spirit pagoda, and Murong Lin was guarding Murong Hui in the room. Seeing the silver needles on his body, and then looking at the enchantment she had arranged, his heart was filled with emotion. Master, don't look at how little spiritual power Miss has, but the enchantment she has arranged, even I can't break it so easily. It's really exquisite. He murmured, Miss can do so many things at such a young age, but Princess Luo really gave birth to a good daughter. A few hours later, Sima Yue came out, took out a list of medicinal materials and gave it to Murong Hui and said, You find the things on it for me by tomorrow morning at the latest. Murong Lin took it and looked at it and said, These medicinal materials are not very rare. Most of them are available in the house. The others need to be found outside, so it may take a little longer. But they should be found tonight. Well, I'll keep watch here. You can ask someone to do it. Sima Yue said. Murong Lin saluted and went down. The sooner these medicinal materials were delivered, the sooner Murong Hui's poison could be cured. Sima Yue leaned against the head of the bed and dozed off. It's been a few days in the spirit pagoda, and she hasn't rested, and now she's a little tired. When she finds the medicinal materials, she has to refine pills, so she must maintain her spiritual power. When Murong Lin prepared the medicinal materials and came in, he saw her leaning against the head of the bed with her eyes closed. He looked at her with some heartache. Was she tired before? Sima Yue felt someone come in, opened her eyes and asked, "Okay?" Sima Yue checked Murong Hui's pulse and made sure that his condition was stable. Then she got up and said to Murong Lin, "Is there anyone 100% reliable? 100% reliable?" Murong Lin was stunned and didn't understand why she said that. "I don't think this time it's so simple. I don't trust the people in the house. I need to find someone 100% reliable to guard." Sima Yue said. "I'll guard the master." Murong Lin said. Sima Yue shook her head. "I need your help with what I'm going to do later. Someone I trust 100% must be very strong. It's hard to confirm in such a short time." Murong Lin saw that Sima Yue's expression was so dignified, and he also noticed the strangeness. In order to ensure the safety of Murong Hui, this ordinary person definitely can't do it. "I'll keep watch." A short figure walked out of the door. The enchantment set up by Sima Yue did not obstruct him. His strength was still too low. Sima Yue looked at the old man. Wasn't he the old man she had seen in the library? Ancestor. Murong Lin saluted him. Sima Yue was not surprised. She had already guessed his identity. "Go and do whatever you want to do. Leave this place to me," the little old man said to the two of them. "Then I'll have to trouble you, ancestor. Don't let anyone come near here. Uncle Lin, come with me." Sima Yue took Murong Lin to the next room, took out a furnace and said, "I'll refine the detoxification medicinal pill in a while. You stay here. When I need you to inject spiritual power, you do as I say. My spiritual power is too little to refine such a high-level medicinal pill." Murong Lin didn't expect that Sima Yue called him here for this, and responded, "Okay." Sima Yue didn't talk much nonsense. She took out a furnace and the medicinal materials he had prepared, and began to skillfully refine them. Murong Lin also studied alchemy for a period of time. Sima Yue's movements were very skilled at first glance. It could even be said that she was at the master level. When refining the medicinal materials, Sima Yue made a few mistakes in the middle, and then the rest were completed smoothly. "It's my first time refining medicinal materials from the ghost realm. I'm not familiar with it." Sima Yue said, "Next, I'll start to condense the pill." She didn't have her own flame yet. The previous flames couldn't be used now, so she could only borrow external flames. It was very difficult to operate, and she didn't succeed 3 times in a row. She took a deep breath and secretly told herself not to worry. She picked up the last refined essence and began to refine the pill. Murong Lin was secretly surprised when he saw her adjusting her state. He kept looking at her and found that because she was not familiar with the ghost realm's medicinal pills, she didn't grasp it well, causing her to fail several times. Her mood was inevitably a little impetuous. But he didn't expect that she would calm herself down again in less than a minute. This temperament was really not something that ordinary people had. After a while, he suddenly heard her instructions, asking him to inject spiritual power into it. He immediately walked to the side of the furnace and injected his spiritual power into it. Sima Yue controlled the situation in the furnace and told Murong Lin what to do. Although the whole process was very difficult, it was considered a success. She went up and opened the furnace. Seeing the strangely shaped medicinal pills inside, she breathed a sigh of relief. "Let's try the effect of this medicinal pill." The two went back and saw the little old man's inquiring eyes. They nodded and came to Murong Hui's bedside and fed him the medicinal pill. It will take half an hour for this medicinal pill to work. Murong Lin felt that every minute of this half hour was like a year. It wasn't until half an hour later that Sima Yue went up to check Murong Hui's pulse and said that he had been detoxified, that his hanging heart was completely relieved. Master is finally fine. He looked at Sima Yue happily and felt that she really understood everything. Don't be happy too early, Sima Yue said as she pulled out the silver needles. Now his poison has been detoxified. His injuries are still very serious. A little carelessness and he may wake up. But at least now he has been detoxified, and it can be regarded as a big step forward. Murong Lin now believed in her medical skills. Don't spread the news of father's detoxification for the time being. Sima Yue said, don't show a very excited look when you go outside. Little girl, what do you want to do? The little old man asked. I suspect that father's incident this time should be caused by a traitor in the Duke's mansion. I haven't thought about what to do next, but I think it's better than saying it out loud. Once the people outside know about father's situation, we will be in a passive position. Sima Yue said. Well, what she said is right. You just tell the public that the Duke's situation is still very bad and no one is allowed to disturb him. The little old man ordered. Do you have anyone you suspect? Sima Yue glanced at him and said faintly, if I have someone I suspect, I won't let you keep it secret, but let you catch them. However, I don't think it will take long for those people to jump out by themselves. Chapter 1794. The news that Murong Hui was poisoned and could not stop bleeding quickly spread throughout Liao City, and the entire Duke mansion was shrouded in dark clouds. In those 2 days, bowls of blood-replenishing soup were sent in and basins of blood were brought out. The people outside couldn't get in, and they were anxious about the situation inside. But Sima Yue ordered that no one was allowed to go in, and they couldn't know the specific situation inside. In the past, although Murong Shi was favored by Murong Hui, her status in the City Lord Mansion was not high, and many people would not take her words to heart. But this time was different. The chief butler Murong Lin personally executed the order, and the elders were personally in charge, and no one dared to disobey her orders. In Murong Hui's room, there was no anxious atmosphere like outside, but it was very relaxed and comfortable. Murong Hui and the little old man were playing chess on the bed, Murong Lin was watching by the bed, and Sima Yue was fiddling with medicinal materials. She cut the medicinal materials sent in from outside, extracted the essence, and then put them in a bowl on the ground. Little Black on the ground sniffed and lazily closed his eyes. If you don't drink, go back. Sima Yue threatened. Little Black whimpered in protest, but still obediently drank all of it. In order to express its emotions, it ate the entire bowl and even took a few bites of it. The movement here attracted the attention of the other 3 people. Seeing Little Black's aggrieved appearance, they all smiled and shook their heads. He doesn't want to drink, don't force him. The little old man defended. Sima Yue continued to fiddle with the medicinal materials, and said without raising her head, these medicinal materials have to be tried, why don't you try it? The little old man looked at the medicinal materials in her hand and shook his head, you'd better let your puppy try it for you. Little Black opened his eyes and glared at him, then closed them helplessly. Murong Hui was about to play chess when he heard that she was going to study those medicinal materials, and said, how long do I have to stay here? Father, your injury hasn't healed yet, you have to stay for at least 3 or 5 days. Sima Yue said, when I think about it, Uncle Lin has already found out the mole. Do you really think that this is something done by the mole? The little old man asked. I don't believe in coincidences. Too many coincidences come together, that is an ulterior motive. Sima Yue said, why did father encounter so many mythological beasts on his way back? Why is old Fu the only one who can cure him? Why was he poisoned by this kind of poison that won't be discovered? Moreover, the person who poisoned father would definitely be able to get close to him. With all these factors added together, it's hard not to be suspicious. Then who do you think this mole is? Murong Hui asked. I'm really curious, how many things do you know? The little old man said, medicine, alchemy, array, what else do you know? That's all I know. Sima Yue said, I just happened to learn a little before. The 3 of them looked at her, obviously no one believed her. By the way, father, Did you go out this time to deal with the matter of the mineral vein? Is there a hidden mineral vein? Sima Yue asked. Originally, I wanted to deal with this matter, but now it seems that this matter should be fake news released by others. Fake? Sima Yue felt that it was unbelievable. Because it's not just me, several families are involved in this matter, but no one has really found the mineral vein. Muronghui explained, the surrounding mountains have been searched by us, but we haven't found anything. In addition, I was schemed against, so I think this news should be fake. It was released to lure me into a trap. What if that news is true? Sima Yue asked. Really? Why do you think so? Muronghui asked. I don't think the person who set the trap should release this news out of thin air. If the news is too fake, you can't believe it. Sima Yue didn't say me air, and thought of such an excuse, which was also reasonable. You're right. Muronghui also thought so. The news we got before is indeed true. Otherwise, I wouldn't have rushed over with people. But after I got there, I couldn't find it for a long time, so I thought the news was fake. But after listening to your analysis, I think it makes sense. Father, I have some research on finding mineral veins. Why don't we wait for this matter to be over, and I'll look for it with you? After Sima Yue finished speaking, she found that they were all staring at her and asked, What's wrong? You know how to find mineral veins? Murong Lin asked in surprise. A little. Sima Yue said, although I don't understand it very well, one more person has one more strength, maybe they can help something. What you said is true. Then you can go with me. Muronghui agreed. The more he got along with Sima Yue, the more he felt that she was very capable, and maybe she could really help him find mineral veins. Recently, the situation in Vast Region has been very serious. Although he is deeply loved by Wangya, the hard conditions in Vast Region are not enough. It is of great significance to find mineral veins for both Vast Region and Wangya. Someone is coming. The little old man threw the chess piece in his hand into the chess box. Really, so many days have come, and I have wasted so much time. Miss, you and Master stay in the room, those people won't break in. Murong Lin said. Sima Yue nodded. With her strength, she would not rush to die. Murong Lin and the little old man went out. She heard the sound of questioning and fighting outside in the room, and turned to look at Muronghui. Muronghui was still studying the chess game on the table, and he was not worried about the situation outside at all. It seemed that he had expected today's situation. She pouted. They obviously had an arrangement like this. Then they asked her like that just now. Didn't they just want to test her? Outside, the second butler surrounded the whole yard with people. For his appearance, Murong Lin and the others were not surprised at all, and they didn't even question him, and the two sides started fighting directly. Father, do you know it's the second butler? Sima Yue asked. I know. There are only a few people who can know my whereabouts so clearly. The others followed me to Eternal Brilliance City before coming back. The only one who can betray me is him. Then do you know who is behind him? Sima Yue asked again. Chapter 1795. Being able to become the second butler of the Duke Manor shows that he was still trusted by Muronghui before. In the past few decades when he went to Eternal Brilliance City, he was instigated by others, which shows that the other party still has some ability. I have a little idea. Muronghui didn't intend to elaborate. She still didn't want to know so much about those conspiracies. When Sima Yue heard him say this, she knew that he had a little idea in his heart, so she stopped asking and continued to study the medicinal materials in front of her. Woof woof woof, Xiao He got up from the ground and bit the corner of her skirt. No, it's too dangerous outside, you can't go out. Be good, come and eat this. Woof woof woof, the protest is invalid. Xiao He cried silently in his heart. When Muronghui finished playing the game of chess, all the medicinal materials in front of Sima Yue were refined and poured into Xiao He's mouth, and the battle outside was over. She got up and patted Xiao He's head, and Xiao He immediately became energetic. Dad, I won't participate in the rest of the matter. When you set off to find the mineral vein, remember to inform me. Okay. Thanks to you this time. Muronghui said gratefully. Without her, he would have bled to death. Sima Yue smiled and walked out with Xiaohei. There was black blood everywhere outside, emitting a foul smell. Woof woof woof, it's really smelly. Woof woof woof, well, I won't let you eat so many medicinal materials later. Woof woof woof, I know, I won't let you eat so many medicinal materials next time. Alas, if little Seven was here, he would definitely not dislike it. Woof woof woof, there were still guards in the yard cleaning up the mess. When they heard the conversation between one person and one dog, they all glanced at her subconsciously. They all heard the conversation between Murong Lin and the second butler before. This time, thanks to her medical skills and strategies, the consequences would be unimaginable. Now, no one dared to despise this young lady anymore. In the next few days, Murong Hui has been dealing with the aftermath of this matter. He appeared in front of everyone safe and sound, and the dark clouds covering the Duke Manor completely dispersed. And because of Murong Hui's arrangement, except for the people of the Duke Manor, no one else knew that the Duke Manor had experienced such a dangerous thing, let alone that she had resolved this crisis. On this day, the regional king's manor welcomed an old man. It was Elder Fu, who had disappeared previously. When old Fu saw Murong Hui, he first apologized. Duke, I was actually led out of the city by someone. When you needed me the most, I was not in the city and let you fall into danger. I'm sorry, Duke. Murong Hui helped him up and said, you can't blame old Master Fu for this. You don't have to blame yourself. I heard that the B*Tis was poisoned and those doctors were helpless. I wonder who saved you in the end? Old Fu asked. The smile on Murong Hui's face was stiff for a moment, but it was fleeting and was not seen by old Master Fu. He smiled and said, actually, I wasn't poisoned. That's just a false rumor. You weren't poisoned? Old Master Fu was stunned. Then why did you send someone to look for me? It's just that those external injuries looked very serious, so I wanted to ask old Master Fu to come and see me. Murong Hui explained, those people must have sent the wrong message when they went to pass on the news. Otherwise, without old Master Fu, how could I live? You really weren't poisoned? Old Master Fu still didn't believe it. Murong Hui nodded affirmatively. Why, old Master Fu seems to care about my poisoning. I do care about it. Old Master Fu admitted, I heard about it when I returned to the city. I have been blaming myself for not being able to help the city lord. Now that I know you are not poisoned at all, I am relieved. Thank you for your concern, old Master Fu. Since the Duke is fine, then I won't bother you anymore. After old Master Fu said a few polite words, the guard sent him out. Murong Hui looked at old Master Fu's eyes and gradually became cold, and said to Murong Lin on the side, send someone to check who he has been in contact with recently. In addition, send someone to follow him and pay close attention to his actions. Yes, Master. Murong Lin took the order and left. Father, what is the origin of this old Master Fu? Sima Yue came out of another door and asked. Before old Master Fu came, Sima Yue was discussing with Murong Hui about finding the mineral lode. When she heard that old Master Fu came, she went inside and temporarily avoided him. She didn't expect to hear such a thing. Judging from what old Master Fu said just now, his reaction to Murong Hui not being poisoned was too strange, which made people smell something abnormal. Old Master Fu used to be an imperial physician in the palace. For some reason, he left the palace and went to Liao City. He is the teacher of the little prince, so his status is high. Even Wang Ye appreciated his medical skills, and others admired him even more. Murong Hui explained to her. Is it the little prince who wants to kill father? Sima Yue said. Murong Hui said, the little prince is Wang Ye's most valued child, and he has been determined to be the next Wang Ye. I am loyal to Wang Ye, so I have no conflict of interest with him. So you're saying that someone else bribed Elder Fu in an attempt to cut you, a person who doesn't know what's good for him? Sima, you guessed. The prince has so many sons, who is the most likely? There are several possibilities. Murong Hui said, as for who is the most suspicious, the one who is the most jealous of the throne is not necessarily the most suspicious. Sima Yue agreed. Some people usually seem to be low-key, but people say that dogs that bite don't bark. Who knows if they have done anything secretly? Father, since this old Master Fu is the little prince's teacher, you can't kill him directly. Otherwise, even if he is a traitor, it will leave a knot in the little prince's heart. When there is conclusive evidence, tell the little prince. Sima Yue suggested. Being betrayed, it was better to let him solve this matter himself. Muronghui nodded. I plan to do so too. Then when are we going to find the mineral lode? She asked. Tomorrow after. Father, if we find the mineral lode, let me open up the potential. Well, I haven't seen the mineral lode of the ghost world yet, and I want to study it. If I can't do it, you can let the Seeker Spirit Master do it, okay? Muronghui was a little worried that she would mess up the potential and destroy the mineral lode, but he only hesitated for a few seconds before agreeing. If you want to go, then go, but don't damage the mineral lode. He told her. Thank you, Father. Then I will go back and prepare. Sima Yue finished speaking and left happily. Muronghui looked at her cheerful back and laughed. She said it as if she can really find the mineral lode. But why did he believe her? Chapter 1796. Early the next morning, Sima Yue packed up her things and ran over. Muronghui saw her like this and looked at her dotingly. Are you all ready? I don't have anything to prepare, I just need to go. Father, are you all ready? If you are, we can set off. Sima Yue said with a smile. Woof woof woof. Xiao Hei barked twice on the side, reminding her not to forget him. I know. You, this guy, if you don't obey me after going out, I won't take you out in the future, you know? Sima Yue threatened. Since she found out that Xiao Hei couldn't force him to return to the Spirit Pagoda, she was particularly helpless. Fortunately, this guy's intelligence hasn't recovered much, and he didn't realize this, otherwise, he would be even crazier. Thinking of Xiao Hei's identity, she sighed in her heart. Such a mighty guy, now it has become like this, it's also very miserable. But if people knew its identity, then the miserable person would probably be her. It's ready, let's go. Muronghui didn't know why Sima Yue would spoil this dog so much, but the spirit beasts around her should have special abilities. He heard that her spirit beasts in the human world were very powerful. Although he was intercepted halfway last time, he still didn't bring many people with him on this trip. The housekeeper Murong Lin stayed in the Duke's mansion to deal with things, so she was not familiar with the people who followed him. They left Vast City, although they were very low-key, many people still got the news. He was injured last time, but he still went out this time. Could it be that the news about the mineral veins was true? As a result, many people followed suit. When Emoji got the news, he was drinking tea with Yuan Yen in the tea house. What news made you look at it for so long? Yuan Yen asked. Murong she followed Murong Hui out of the city. Emoji put the note on the table. Yuan Yen saw the words on the small note and saw the 3 words Murong Shi at once. What's so strange about her going out of the city? Yuan Yen took a sip of tea to make himself look more natural. Emoji glanced at him and said, she went to Moon Creek Valley. Moon Creek Valley? It's very dangerous there. Yuan Yen frowned. Well, it is very dangerous. But what? Murong Hui was killed when he came back from Moon Creek Valley. Now, they are still looking in that direction. I don't know what will happen. Since you know the danger, why do you still want to go? Yuan Yan's eyes showed a trace of worry. Why would his father take her there? He's injured himself, and she doesn't have the strength. You are concerned about her safety. Emoji said affirmatively. No, I'm just curious. Yuan Yan said, let's go to Moon Creek Valley too, maybe we can find what I want there. Where do you think it is? Maybe. Yuan Yan said, we have been looking for it in the city for so long, but we haven't found it. It's time to look outside the city. You agreed. Then let's also go to Moon Creek Valley. Maybe we can even know what made Murong Hui so obsessed with that place. You're the young master of the Yuan family, and I'm only here to help you. If you want to go, then let's go. Let's go then. Soon after, the The two of them left the tea house without bringing any guards with them. In the Dong family, Dong Chilian also received the news. You went to Moon Creek Valley? She looked at the person on the ground and asked. Moon Creek Valley, it's very dangerous there. Have you found out the source of that dog? This subordinate is incompetent, I can't find any news. The person kneeling on the ground lowered his head, not knowing what kind of punishment he would receive. If you can't find it, then forget it. Take someone there, and be sure to keep her life in Moon Creek Valley for me. If you can't take her down, then leave yourself there too. Dong Chilian said viciously. Yes, miss. Go down. Dong Chilian waved her hand. Miss, there is one more thing. This subordinate found that the young master of the Yuan family also followed. What did you say? Dong Chilian looked at him in shock. Yuan Yen also went to Moon Creek Valley? Are you sure? When this subordinate came back, I saw him leaving in that direction with a person. As for whether he went to Moon Creek Valley, this subordinate is not sure. Dong Chilian was puzzled. This Moon Creek Valley is so dangerous. What is he doing there? I think I probably know why. Dong Chishuang came in from the outside and said, Sister, I just heard Father and the others say that there may be mineral veins in Moon Creek Valley. There are mineral veins? How do you know? I just heard Father and the others say that they are all rushing over now. I said I wanted to go, but he didn't take me. Dong Chishuang said, Sister, why don't we go and have a look? I heard that a lot of people have already rushed there. It must be very lively. Dong Chilian didn't speak. Dong Chishuang thought she was unwilling and pleaded, Sister, don't you like Yuan Yen? How do you know what he is going to do if you don't go? What if there is something? You go down first and do what I told you. She waved her hand and the person on the ground got up and left. Sister, shall we go? Since you think so, let's go and have a look. But let's make it clear first, if you are not obedient when you go there, I will immediately send you back. Dong Chilian said. Sister, when did people stop talking? Okay, let's go, otherwise we won't be able to keep up with them. Dong Chishuang said anxiously. You little girl, why are you in such a hurry? Although Dong Chilian was talking about her, her movements were not slow at all, and the two quickly left with the guards. Xiao family, Xiao Ruobai had just come out of seclusion and went to share the news of her advancement with her grandfather. She heard that Sima Yue had gone to Moon Creek Valley, and the Xiao family also planned to send someone to take a look, so she immediately begged to take her there. Xiao family's patriarch couldn't resist her request and had to take her with him. The movement in Vast City quickly reached Murong Hui's hands. Sima Yue looked at him from the side and asked curiously, Father, why do you want those people to know? It's time to clean up the forces in Vast City. Murong Hui said, Are you worried? I'm not worried. I think Father dares to do this, so naturally he is prepared. Sima Yue said, I'm just wondering if they will hinder our plan if they come here. There are no mineral veins in Moon Creek Valley at all. Murong Hui said, When these people are solved, we will look for them again. Sima Yue was startled. Father, how do you know that there are no mineral veins in Moon Creek Valley? We have searched here several times, but we haven't found it. So it shouldn't be here. Murong Hui said. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. It turned out that his plan was based on this guess. Father, the mineral veins are indeed in Moon Creek Valley. I feel the aura of the mineral veins. Murong Hui was stunned. Chapter 1797. The mineral lode is in Moon Creek Valley. Are you sure? Murong Hui asked. Sima Yue nodded. I feel it. It should be here. In fact, it was not she who felt it, but me felt it, but she couldn't expose him now, so she could only say it was herself. If what you said is true, then our previous plan will have to be changed. Murong Hui did not doubt her words. You rest first, I'll discuss it with them. Sima Yue did not stop him, because in this way, their previous plan would be disrupted, and the mineral lode might be taken by others first. So Murong, she was still very happy with his unreserved trust. She wanted to tell Murong Hui that without her, no one else could find the mineral lode, but he had already left quickly. Besides, this would expose me so she didn't stop him in the end. A few days later, they came to Moon Creek Valley, and Sima Yue found that it was really a good place to set up a trap. Moon Creek Valley was dozens of kilometers long, with cliffs on both sides towering into the clouds, and mountains on both sides. If they set up a trap here, it was easy for people to be hooked. As soon as she saw the terrain, she thought of a way to set up a trap. She hurriedly ran to find Murong Hui and told him about her ideas. Murong Hui and the two aides around him looked at her in surprise. Why, do you think this method is not feasible? Sima Yue looked at the three people and asked. She had tried this method many times, so it couldn't be used in the ghost realm, right? Miss said that the array is matched with poison. Your method is really good. But we don't have this condition now. One of the aides said, we don't have so many array stones, nor do we have the kind of poison you said. It doesn't matter, I have it all. Sima Yue laughed. As long as there was no problem with this method, it was fine. As for those things, they were all things she had prepared before, and she had also prepared a lot after arriving in the ghost realm. Everyone, Miss, why are you so full of deceptive things now? This made them, who were familiar with Murong Shi, a little unacceptable. Since you have these, then let's do it. Murong said, they will catch up in half a day. Can you finish it? No problem. Sima Yue said confidently. Setting up an illusion array was not as difficult as setting up the spirit gathering array before. She could still do it. Then I'll leave it to you. Father, I need a flying beast. In order to set up a large illusion array, she needed to observe the terrain from the air. Now that she couldn't fly, it was a little troublesome. Murong Hui called out his flying beast and took Sima Yue into the air. That evening, the first batch of people arrived. Sima Yue was surprised to see them. How could it be them? She muttered. Who is the other person? Do you know them? Murong Hui stood on the cliff with her and asked. I don't know who he is either, but we've met before. Sima Yue said, he recognized that I wasn't Murong Shi. Does he know who you are? I don't think so. Sima Yue was not sure. But I can feel that this person is not simple. Well, looking at the two of them, Yuan Yen seems to be the leader. It shows that his status is higher than the Yuan family. Murong, seeing the two of them walking into the illusion array, said, the Yuan family is one of the top families in our dynasty, and they are also attached to Wangya. There are only two of them, so they should not be the ones we are waiting for. Should we let them out? No need. They will come out soon. Sima Yue looked at the two people in the valley and frowned slightly. What is the origin of this emoji? The moment Yuan Yen and emoji entered the array, they knew that they had fallen into a trap. This array is really powerful, even I didn't find it until I entered the array. Emoji looked at the array with interest. Emoji, your attainments in array can be said to be the first in the dynasty. Even you didn't find it in advance. The person who arranged this array is really powerful. Yuan Yen sighed. I don't know who arranged this. It shouldn't be someone from the dynasty, right? No, I am familiar with the arrays of the few guys who are more powerful than me. This array was not arranged by them. Emoji said, as for who it is, we will know when we get out. The person who arranged the array must still be here. Once it is cracked, they will be able to see that person. Then he began to take Yuan Yen through the array and came out of it in a few minutes. Seeing Sima Yue standing on the cliff, both of them were a little shocked. Bright eyes and white teeth, a slender figure, long hair, and a red dress fluttering in the wind. Her deep eyes attracted people's minds. Thank you for not breaking my array directly. Sima Yue spoke first. She could see from Emoji's steps that he could crack her array. At first, she was a little worried that he would destroy the array directly in a simple and crude way. She didn't expect that he just walked out of it with Yuan Yen. You didn't attack either. Emoji said, you have already shown your goodwill, how can I not know what's good for me? It's just that I didn't expect this array to be arranged by you. It really surprised me, Murong Shi. He said the words Murong Shi very lightly, and Sima Yue understood what he meant. Murong Shi didn't like anything except beautiful men. How could she have such attainments in array? So, she was not Murong Shi at all. However, he didn't intend to expose her now. Sima smiled. Since you have already come out, please leave. Since we are already here, we have to watch a good show. Emoji pulled Yuan Yen and flew to the cliff on the other side. The position where they stood could also be blocked by the array, so that the people outside could not see them. After a while, someone came again, and the person who came this time did not surprise Muronghui. It was not the Dong family, nor any other family, but the Xiao family. Seeing them kneeling together, Sima saw the heartache of being betrayed from Muronghui's face. In the array, Xiao Ruabai looked at Grandpa and Xiao family members kneeling on the ground and said in surprise, "Grandpa, what are you doing? Who is this person?" "Rubai, this is the 7th prince, you still don't kneel down." Patriarch Xiao turned his head and shouted, "7th prince? Why is he here?" Xiao Ruabai pouted and knelt down. "The Xiao family can't even do such a small thing, otherwise, I wouldn't have to do it myself." "Do it?" Xiao Ruabai was still puzzled. Suddenly, she thought of Muronghui being seriously injured here, and exclaimed, "Grandpa, did you do it to the Duke?" Chapter 1798. Sima sighed. Why did things turn out this way? The Xiao family was obviously instigated by the 7th prince during the period when Xiao Ruabai was not at home. Xiao Ruabai obviously didn't know that they had changed. With her temperament, it would not be easy for her to accept these things. "Grandfather, tell me, the regional prince's injury has nothing to do with you, right?" Xiao Ruabai looked at the patriarch of the Xiao family. Seeing that he had no intention of denying it, her eyes showed pain as she murmured, "Well, why, don't ask anything. We naturally have our reasons for doing so." Patriarch Xiao said, "All right, I won't ask about this. I'll only ask you one question. When you asked me to go to the Duke's mansion to find did you want me to investigate? You used me?" Xiao Ruabai's eyes were filled with tears. "Grandpa once said that he would never use me and let me be the carefree princess of the Xiao family. Grandfather, Ruabai ultimately lost to the clan's interests, right?" "Ruabai." Xiao family head saw that her reaction was so intense and felt very distressed. After all, he had doted on her since she was young. She took a step back and her gaze gradually turned cold. "Grandfather, the 7th prince is still here. You should talk to the 7th prince first. If he blames us, our Xiao clan won't be able to bear the consequences." 7th prince. Patriarch Xiao and the others raised their heads, but the 7th prince was nowhere to be seen. "Master, the 7th prince is missing?" Patriarch Xiao also realized that something was wrong. The 7th prince, who was in front of him just now, had disappeared without a trace. "We've entered an illusion array." He looked around. The surrounding scenery had not changed, but when he looked carefully he realized that something was wrong. "How did you enter the illusion array? Who set up the illusion here?" Everyone cried out in alarm. They actually didn't sense anything when they came in. This illusion array was too powerful. "Looks like we've been tricked." Patriarch Xiao said, "It's just that I don't know if this is to lure us out or if it's specially set up to target us." "But why are you here?" The head of the Dong family came in with the Dong family's people. He was surprised to see the people in the valley. There was clearly no one there just now. "There is an illusion array here. We are trapped in it," family head Xiao said. "An illusory spell?" Only then did the members of the Dong family notice that something was wrong with the scenery here. However, before they could break this array formation, another person walked in. Slowly, there were more and more people in Moon Creek Valley. On the cliff, Emoji looked at the situation below and exclaimed, "This formation is far beyond my expectations. Even I may not be able to arrange such a formation. It seems that she was the one who let me walk out just now." "Is this array very powerful?" Yuan Yen didn't understand arrays, but he knew how powerful the person around him was, and even he couldn't stop praising him, then this array was really powerful. "This formation looks very simple at first glance, but it's much bigger than an ordinary illusion formation. Even though so many people had entered, they did not show any signs of collapsing. If it was someone else's illusion array, it would have collapsed long ago." Emoji explained, "Moreover, this array is not that simple. There's a secret behind it. What else? You'll know if you keep watching. Emoji didn't say anything and looked at Sima Yue with interest. No wonder the old ancestors said that it would not be boring to take on this matter. It was really true. But this lass was so defensive. It wouldn't be easy to gain her trust. However, it's interesting to do such a thing, isn't it? He murmured. In the canyon, those people looked at each other with a dazed expression. Who arranged the illusion array? This illusion array trapped us all here. Does it want to kill us all? This is just an illusion array. Just let him break it. Why worry so much? Patriarch Xiao, Patriarch Dong, you came here the earliest. Do you have a way to crack this array? Not yet, we just arrived. Patriarch Dong said. Let's attack together. This illusion array should not be able to withstand so much power from us. Patriarch Xiao said. That's right. As long as the spiritual power exceeds the endurance of the illusion array, it can naturally be cracked. However, when they used their spiritual power, their faces changed drastically. Why can't I use my spiritual power? This shouldn't be an illusion too, right? Some illusion arrays will also make people lose their spiritual power. It shouldn't be. Patriarch Xiao mobilized his spiritual power. Although it was a little sluggish, he could still move. We should be poisoned. Poisoned? Yes. We are poisoned. Patriarch Dong also echoed. You can actually poison the illusion array, this. Yuan Yen looked at the calm Sima Yue, without pride or complacency, as if this was not arranged by her at all. If she wasn't standing at the place where the array was opened, it would be hard for them to believe that she was the one manipulating all this behind the scenes. It's okay. It's almost time to come. Muronghui said. Yes, father. Sima Yue closed the array. Although the surrounding scenery did not change, the people in the array felt the fluctuations of spiritual power. They looked up and saw the 4 people standing on both sides. Duke. Those people were surprised to see Muronghui. How could it be him? They heard that he was going to clean up the strength of Vast City recently. Could it be that he wanted to catch them all in one fell swoop? Shall family members stay, the others leave immediately? Muronghui said. As soon as his voice fell, hundreds of guards came out from inside and outside the canyon, blocking the front and back roads. Others leave, shall family members stay? The guards said in unison, and the loud voice echoed in the canyon several times before gradually dissipating. Everyone looked at each other, and they were puzzled. Was the Duke going to deal with the Xiao family? But wasn't the Xiao family his people? Did they betray him? However, doubts were doubts. They quickly withdrew from the canyon through the passage left by the guards. The Xiao family also wanted to leave, but the guards were staring at them, making them unable to take a step. After those people retreated, they did not go far, but stopped in a wide place to pay attention to the situation here. In the canyon, Muronghui and Patriarch Xiao looked at each other. Muronghui no longer had the trust of the past, and Patriarch Xiao no longer had the respect of the past. Patriarch Xiao, have I ever treated you badly? In the end, it was Muronghui who spoke first. A fine bird chooses a tree to nest in. I am just seeking a better way for myself. Although the Duke has treated me well, Vast City is too poor to give us the way out we want. Patriarch Xiao said with conviction, and there was no regret on his face. When Sima Yue heard his words, she really wanted to say that he was self-aware and knew that he was a beast. However, when she saw Xiao Ruobai beside him, she swallowed these words back. Chapter 1799. Remember in 1 second, love divided by you? Read book web, update quickly, no pop-up window, free to read. Muronghui heard Patriarch Xiao's words and didn't ask any more questions. Everything was already clear. Sima Yue didn't have a deep feeling about these things. After all, she hadn't been here for long. Except for Xiao Ruobai, she had nothing to do with these people and didn't know about their feelings. Seeing all this, she felt that she was still an outsider. However, seeing Xiao Ruobai in so much pain, she also felt sad for her. Father, Ruobai doesn't know about this. Can you? She opened her mouth, not knowing whether this was good for Xiao Ruabai. Since Xiao family had betrayed Murong Hui, he would definitely not leave them behind. At that time, Xiao Ruabai would face the pain of extermination alone. For her, it was no better than death. When Xiao Ruabai heard Sima Yue pleading for her, she looked up at her and moved her lips, but still didn't say anything. The friendship between her and her could only go so far. She rarely recognized a person, so she rarely had real friends. She didn't expect to finally meet someone she liked, but it couldn't last long. She pleaded for her and wanted her to live. However, she didn't want to accept it. She moved closer to Grandpa to show her position. No matter what the result was today, she would live and die with Xiao family. Patriarch Xiao looked at Xiao Ruabai with a trace of regret in his eyes. I've implicated you, child. Grandpa, no matter what, you are my grandpa. Although Xiao Ruabai was not happy that he used her, at this moment, she was still a member of Xiao family. Patriarch Xiao patted Xiao Ruabai's head lovingly. Murong Hui dotes on his daughter very much. Since she pleaded for you, you should leave. This is the choice of our Xiao family. You can't blame others. You have to live well and don't think about revenge for us. Even if she were to survive today, it would be impossible for her to overthrow a regional king. The tears in Xiao Ruabai's eyes burst out. She grabbed Patriarch Xiao's hand and kept shaking her head. No, I want to be with you. Silly child. Patriarch Xiao sighed and didn't say anything more. On the cliff, Mu? A class equals, __cf email ref equals, /cgi/l/email protection, email protected, waved his hand, and the guards on both sides immediately rushed towards the Xiao family. The members of the Xiao family were poisoned and could not use their spiritual energy, but they did not admit defeat immediately. They held their weapons and resisted. One by one, the members of the Xiao family fell down. Xiao Ruabai looked at the corpses on the ground. Her eyes were red, and tears fell, washing out tears on her bloody face. Sima Yue felt a twinge of pain in her heart when she saw how devastated she was. It was as if she had seen herself in the past. She really didn't know that the person who betrayed Murong Hui would be the Xiao family, nor did she know that Xiao Ruabai would come with them. If she had known that she would face such a situation, she would not have chosen this method. However, what was done, and she could not change anything. Seeing that someone was behind Xiao Ruabai and was about to cut down with a knife, she subconsciously made a move and knocked the man's knife down. Don't kill her. Sima Yue looked at Xiao Ruabai and shouted to the guard. As soon as she made a move, the whole scene suddenly quieted down, and there were not many members of the Xiao family left. Only Xiao Ruabai, Patriarch Xiao, and a few guards were still standing. The guard looked at Murong Hui, waiting for him to make a decision. Murong Hui thought for a while and said, "Let Xiao Ruabai go. As for the rest, kill them all. Duke, if you don't remove the roots, it will grow again when the spring breeze blows." An aide disagreed. At this time, they should all be killed. Sima Yue also understood this truth, but she still couldn't do anything to the innocent Xiao Ruabai. Even if you save me today, I will not remember your kindness. Xiao Ruabai looked at Sima Yue with a complicated gaze. Our friendship ends today, so you don't have to plead for me. I know. Whether you want to hate me or take revenge, you have to survive first. Sima Yue said. I am a member of the Xiao family. I live with the Xiao family and die with the Xiao family. You don't have to worry about me anymore. Xiao Ruabai stopped looking at Sima Yue and lowered her head to hide the pain in her eyes. Go. Under Murong Hui's order, the guards rushed up again. The Xiao family had no way to resist, and soon only Patriarch Xiao and Xiao Ruabai were left. Patriarch Xiao could still use some of his spiritual power, and no one dared to kill Xiao Ruabai, so they all avoided her. At this moment, several men in black quickly flew over and killed all the people who attacked Xiao Ruabai. One of them grabbed Xiao Ruabai and pushed her to another man in black, saying, "Take her away first." The sudden appearance of the men in black surprised everyone. Their goal this time was very clear, Xiao Ruabai. Xiao Ruabai was caught and pulled out of the encirclement. She couldn't break free and could only look back at Patriarch Xiao, but she just happened to see him being stabbed in the heart from behind. Grandpa, she wanted to struggle, but it was in vain. The people who caught her did not give her a chance at all. Who are you? Let go of me, I'm going to find my grandpa. My grandpa is still inside. Let go of me. The man felt that she was too much of a hindrance, so he directly knocked her out, carried her on his shoulder, and continued to break out. Who are you? Murong Hui saw that the men in black were very strong, so he flew down and fought with them personally. The other party did not speak, and their hands did not stop moving. Everyone had only one goal, and that was to break out. Sima Yue watched from above and saw that the man carrying Xiao Ruobai had been protecting her safety. Seeing that someone was going to hurt Xiao Ruobai, he turned his body and let her avoid, but he was injured. Her eyes narrowed slightly. These people really came to save Xiao Ruobai. Although Murong Hui pulled one person, they finally escaped after paying the price of a few masters. Duke, do you want to chase? Murong Hui looked at the speed of those people leaving and said, no need. Sima Yue originally wanted to spare Xiao Ruobai's life. These people were so powerful it didn't make sense to chase. Sima Yue breathed a sigh of relief and looked at Xiao Ruobai's figure in a daze. Since he was willing to protect you with his life, he should be able to protect you as well. Check and see if you can know the identity of these people. Murong Hui ordered. However, there was nothing on these people to identify themselves. Sima Yue frowned slightly when she heard the result. If she didn't know the identity of these people, then she would lose Xiao Ruobai's whereabouts. These people are the 7th prince's people. Emoji suddenly said. Sima Yue turned to look at him, and the two looked at each other across the valley. Are you sure? I have seen his people before. Emoji didn't say much, but this was enough to explain the identity of these people. The 7th prince. Sima Yue's eyebrows were tightly knitted together, and the worry in her eyes increased. The 7th prince used the Xiao family. Now that the Xiao family was gone, would Ruobai be okay in his hands? Chapter 1800. Remember in 1 second, love divided by you? Read book web, update quickly, no pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue watched the men in black take Xiao Ruobai away. Even if she was worried, she felt that it was better this way. Now that she was facing Xiao Ruobai, she definitely couldn't accept herself. Although she had a clear conscience, she also felt sorry for her. Besides, since those people protected her with their lives, it means that the 7th prince will not take her life. Without the protection of her family, having someone with her, at least she can have someone to rely on. Emoji kept looking at her, seeing that she was actually worried about a woman who was about to become her enemy. He inexplicably felt that she was a little silly and cute. Duke, how should we deal with these people? According to the past practice, this kind of person was burned directly. But looking at the relationship between Sima Yue and Xiao Ruobai, they were a little uncertain. Murong Hui glanced at Sima Yue on the cliff, saw her looking at him expectantly, and ordered, bury them on the spot. Sima Yue smiled gratefully. Those onlookers were shocked when they saw Murong Hui destroy one of the top forces in Vast City. They always thought that he had gone to Eternal Brilliant City for so many years and had no control over this place. They didn't expect that he would do this to them shortly after he came back. It seems that they have to change their relationship with the Duke in the future. Sima Yue didn't want to see those people deal with the bodies of the Xiao family members. She greeted Murong Hui and withdrew from the cliff, preparing to look for the mineral veins. Mi Air said that the surface here was very similar to the snowfield, covering the aura of the mineral veins. If it weren't for him, it would be difficult for others to find it. In his original words, if others found it, it was definitely smoke from the ancestral grave, making him accidentally dig the ore below. Yuan Yen saw her leaving alone and frowned disapprovingly. Moon Creek Valley is so dangerous. Why did she leave alone? Are you worried about her? Emoji asked. Yuan Yen wanted to say no, but he felt that his performance just now was very unconvincing. I'm just grateful to her for letting me have an epiphany, break through the bottleneck, and successfully advance. Since you are worried, let's go and have a look. After Emoji finished speaking, he took the lead and flew to the opposite side. Yuan Yen was stunned for a moment and also flew over. Sima Yue sensed movement behind her and turned around to see the two people flying towards her. She stopped and looked at them helplessly. Where are you going? She hoped that it wasn't what she was thinking. Yuan Yen said that he wanted to thank you for letting him have an epiphany and advance. Seeing you leave alone, he said that he would protect you for 2 days. Emoji said. Protect me? Sima Yue was stunned for a moment before she rejected. Thank you for your kind intentions, but my father will send someone to follow me. I don't need your protection. I don't like to be with strangers. Goodbye. After saying that, she turned around and left, leaving the two of them with a carefree back view. Emoji gave her a dangerous feeling, so it was better not to come into contact with him. Moreover, it would be too inconvenient for these two outsiders to be around. After a while, Murong Hui caught up. In order to narrow the target, he only brought 12 guards, and the rest returned to Liao City to help Murong Lin deal with the Xiao family. Sima Yue took them to the depths of Moon Creek Valley. They encountered several groups of underworld beasts on the way and were all killed by the guards. Are you sure it's here? Murong Hui asked when he saw her getting deeper and deeper. The underworld beasts inside were getting more and more powerful. If they went deeper, they would be in danger. Sima Yue knew his scruples and said, It's not far from here. It's probably a few thousand kilometers away. A few thousand kilometers, fortunately, it's not counted as entering the inner region. If we are lucky, we won't encounter any particularly strong spirit beasts. Murong Hui estimated the distance in his heart and relaxed a little. However, they were still happy too early. Not long after these words were spoken, they were surrounded by a group of underworld beasts. Underworld Een Wolf. Why are there so many underworld Een Wolves here? The guards all shouted. Sima Yue looked at Murong Hui's face and said, Is this kind of underworld beast difficult to deal with? One underworld Een Wolf is easier to deal with, but this kind of wolf is generally a social animal. Murong Hui explained. Sima Yue looked at the underworld Een Wolves surrounding them. There were at least 50 or 60 of them. They only had 12 people, so it was indeed more troublesome to deal with them. Duke, in a while we will kill our way out. You and Miss leave first, the leader of the guards said. Murong Hui didn't agree, but he didn't say no. If it was just him, he would definitely fight with everyone. But today, with Sima Yue here, he must consider her safety. Sima Yue sat on Little Black's back. Little Black saw the underworld Een Wolves and was not worried at all. He even bared his teeth at them to provoke them. She patted Little Black's back, comforted him not to act rashly, and then called Little Purple out. I'm sleeping. Why did you wake me up? Little Z was not happy. She had a temper when she woke up. I don't want to, but look at these. How can I not call you out? Sima Yue touched Little Purple's head and smiled unscrupulously. You are too weak now. Hurry up and improve your strength. Otherwise, you will have to find me if something happens in the future. Little Purple licked his claws unhappily, and then waved at the underworld Een Wolves. Crackle, a series of lightning flew out from his claws and directly hit the underworld Een Wolves. Those underworld Een Wolves couldn't dodge in time and were all turned into black charcoal. Just you dregs. Little Purple blew his claws and said disdainfully. The guards were stunned. She actually had such a powerful underworld beast. The remaining underworld Een Wolves looked at their companions who were killed in an instant, and there was deep fear in their eyes. Do you want to die? Little Purple squinted at the underworld Een Wolves, and the threat in his eyes was very strong. Those underworld Een Wolves stared at Little Purple, slowly retreated, and then ran away without looking back. The guards were dumbfounded. It was so easy to solve it? So weak. Little Purple jumped into Sima Yue's arms. In order not to be interrupted, it would not go back for the time being. Murong Hui recovered first, and the gaze he looked at Little Purple changed again and again. He knew Little Purple's identity, but it was the first time he saw it deal with an underworld beast. Even he was shocked by its fighting power. Dad, we can continue. Sima Yue said. Well, let's go. Murong Hui nodded and continued to move forward with the guards. After they left for a while, two figures fell beside the bodies of the underworld wolves. I didn't expect her to have such a powerful underworld beast around her. No wonder she dared to come to Moon Creek Valley. Yuan Yen checked the underworld wolves. As soon as he touched their bodies, he was electrocuted by the remaining lightning in his body. If he hadn't pulled it out quickly, his entire arm would have been crippled. Chapter 1801. Remember in 1 second, love divided by you? Reads book web, update quickly, no pop-up window, read for free. Yuan Yen looked at his blackened arm, grimaced, and quickly took out a medicinal pill to eat. What a powerful lightning! He sighed. MG, what kind of beast was that just now? I haven't seen it either. It's not recorded in the book. Emoji said, but I think it shouldn't be a beast from the ghost realm. There are no lightning-attributed beasts in the ghost realm. Not from the ghost realm? Then where did she contract it from? Yuan Yen said in shock. Maybe it's from outside, or Murong Hui got it for her from somewhere. Emoji knew that this must be brought by Sima Yue from the human world, but he did not say her identity. The underworld dog beside her is not an ordinary underworld dog. It seems that this Murong she has experienced some things during the time she left Vast City. Yuan Yen said, could it be that these experiences have changed her temperament? Maybe. Emoji replied, in that case, we don't have to worry about her safety. Aren't you looking for black Ganoderma? Since we are here, let's look for it. From the canyon to here, they have been following from a distance. When they saw so many underworld wolves just now, they almost came out. Now that they know that she has such a powerful spirit beast, they can do their own things. Sima Yue took Murong Hui into the inner edge of Moon Creek Valley and came to an inconspicuous hill. Father, it's here. She pointed to the hill and said, is there a mineral vein here? The seeker spirit master who followed didn't believe it. This hill doesn't have any characteristics of a mineral vein. How can it be a mineral vein? This stone skin is different from the ordinary stone skin, so people can't see that this is a mineral vein. But as long as you dig down for tens of meters, you will find the ore below. Sima Yue said affirmatively. If it's really a mineral vein, such a small mountain, there shouldn't be much ore, right? Not only this hill, but also this stretch for tens of thousands of kilometers. It's just that they are all hidden underground. Sima Yue said, if you don't believe me, you can follow this direction for 10,000 kilometers and see if it's true. However, that place is already in the depths of the inner region. Be careful. Everyone, since you know that it's in the depths of the inner region, how could they possibly go in to investigate? Inform the butler, tell him that the mineral lode has been found, and ask him to send someone over. Murong Hui ordered. Yes, Your Highness. That person accepted the order and left. In his heart, he thought that the prince was still so doting towards the young miss and did not doubt her words at all. If there were no ore veins here, then wouldn't their trip be in vain? It would also alarm the other clans and bring some trouble to the regional king's manor. Sima Yue watched the man leave. A-class equals __CF email __ref equals /cdncgi/l/email protection datic female equals 61C21AAD4 email protected. Father, you promised to let me open the momentum. Father still remembers. Go ahead. A-class equals __CF email __ref equals /cdncgi/l/email protection datic female equals B5683AF57E00 email protected. The seeker spirit master on the side wanted to stop him, but he was stared back by Murong Hui. Thank you, Father. Sima Yue hugged little Z, sat on little Black's back, and ran up the hill alone. Your Highness, the young miss is so young. She doesn't know much about the seeker spirit master. If we really let her open the momentum, will she? The seeker spirit master said worriedly. I know what I'm doing. A-class equals __CF email __ref equals /cdncgi/l/email protection datic female equals 2AF7A56AE19F, email protected. The Seeker Spirit Master still wanted to say something, but he was pulled away by Murong Hui's aides. The young miss is the prince's treasure. Not to mention giving her a mineral lode to play with. Even if she was given the whole county manor to play with, he wouldn't feel distressed. You fool actually went to touch the prince's reverse scale? You're really stupid. Sima Yue came to the back of the hill and made sure that they couldn't see, then she called me air out. I'll leave the rest to you. She said, you have to take it easy. Don't damage this mineral lode. It's very important to father. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Mi Air turned into her appearance, then drove her into the spirit pagoda and began to open the momentum himself. Sima Yue knew that it was very easy for him to open the momentum. After entering the spirit pagoda, she didn't pay attention to the outside world and went to see the beasts that were still sleeping. Because the spirit pagoda had been repaired, the beasts looked much better now, and their hair was glossy. She approached them and felt that their breaths were also recovering quickly. It wouldn't be long before they woke up one after another. She walked over, leaned her head on Little Dream's head, and gently stroked her face. When will you wake up? Although father is very good to me, and Little Black and the rest are with me, I still feel that I haven't integrated into this place. I still miss you guys. You. The ethereal call made her body tremble. Little Dream? Little Dream, is that you? Have you woken up? Sima Yue let go of Little Dream and stared at her nervously. Seeing Little Dream slowly open her eyes, her tears flowed down silently. You. Little Dream stuck out her tongue to lick the tears on her face. Little Dream, you're awake. You're really awake. Sima Yue hugged Little Dream excitedly. Little Dream turned into a human and hugged Sima Yue. She patted her back gently and said, yes, I'm awake. You won't be alone anymore. I'm sorry, it's all my fault that you guys fell asleep. Sima Yue couldn't suppress the self-blame in her heart anymore, hugging Little Dream and crying nonstop. It's okay, we don't blame you. If you're like this, everyone will be worried about you even in their sleep. Little Dream comforted, although we didn't wake up, we can still feel that you've been very unhappy recently. Even if you're smiling, you're not happy for a moment. Your heart has been immersed in sorrow. We all feel sorry for you. Sima Yue also knew that she had been unhappy. Ever since she woke up and saw the sleeping beasts, she was immersed in self-blame. So she couldn't integrate into the life here, so she cultivated desperately. This was not only to save her mother, but also to let the beasts wake up earlier. Originally, she had been suppressing this self-blame, but now that Little Dream had woken up, it was brought out. Everyone loves you. We want to see you happy. Little Dream said, we've seen your hard work. You really don't have to blame yourself. I'll be with you. Sima Yue blushed slightly when she was comforted by the beasts. Actually, you don't have to worry too much about everyone. I've already woken up, so they should be waking up soon. Little Dream continued to comfort her. Before she woke up, they felt her condition and were really too worried. Fortunately, she woke up and could guide her. Speaking of which, why did you wake up before them? Sima Yue wiped her tears and tried to calm herself down. Little Dream wasn't the strongest one, but why did she wake up first? Chapter 1802. Maybe it has something to do with the thing in my heart. Little Dream said uncertainly, since that thing can keep me alive, maybe it has other uses. She reached out and touched her chest, her expression complicated. No matter what the reason is, it's good that you're awake. Sima Yue patted her shoulder. Yes. They'll wake up soon too. Little Dream smiled. If they know that I'm the first to wake up to accompany you, they'll definitely be jealous of me. Little Black and Mi Air are here too. Those two fellows don't count. Little Dream pouted. One just arrived not long ago. The other's intelligence is not complete. They don't count. Anyway, I'm the first. It's a pity that Thousand Resonance and Little Roar aren't here. I wonder how they're doing now. Sima Yue thought of those two fellows, and was a little worried. They stayed in your body, and didn't come to the ghost realm with us. When we return to the human realm, we'll be able to see them. Although Little Dream missed Little Roar very much, but seeing Sima Yue like this, she still comforted her. I must cultivate properly, and fight for everyone to wake up earlier, and reunite earlier. Sima Yue looked at the living area. Her father, and Lei, and those bird clan elders were still inside. Yu, I'll go outside to accompany you. Little Dream pulled Sima Yue's hand. All right. Sima Yue nodded. She needed her company now too. As for other people being curious about Little Dream's identity, that was no longer within her consideration. After Mi-Er settled the matters outside, and called Sima Yue out, she and Little Dream had already talked for a long time, and her mood had already calmed down. Mi-Er saw that her spirit was different, and pouted, unhappy that he couldn't make her happy. Sima Yue touched his shoulder, saying, You and Little Black are also very important, but there are some psychological problems that need to be dealt with. Forget it, I won't argue with you about this. When Little Dream wakes up, you'll have one more person to protect you. How's your recovery? About 70 to 80%. If there's a chance in the future, get me more. Mi-Er said. That's good. Yu, someone's coming. Little Dream reminded. Sima Yue kept Mi-Er. Mi-Er returned to the back of her hand and turned into a blood-red flower. It was enchanting. Morong Hui and the others climbed over the hillside and saw Sima Yue standing in the valley with Little Z in her arms. On one side was Little Black, and on the other side was a little girl they had never seen before. Sima Yue walked over with Little Z in her arms. Why you here? Didn't you say so? Morong Hui said doubtfully. Sima Yue was slightly startled. She smiled and said, Yes, it's done. Now you can open the mountain. Morong Hui asked those people to open the mine to determine if there was really a mineral vein below. After those people left, he asked, This is my contracted beast, Little Dream. Sima Yue said, She's a dark-type spirit beast, so she woke up faster. Morong Hui looked at Little Dream and wanted to see what kind of spirit beast she was, but he couldn't see it at all. He was astonished and marveled inwardly. Even he couldn't see the spirit beast, which meant that she was very strong, and her race should be relatively rare. At least he hadn't seen it before. Thank you for protecting Yu. Little Dream nodded lightly to him to express her gratitude. Since she recovered her memory, her whole person had become cold. Except for Little Roar and Sima Yue, others rarely saw her smile and received her gentle treatment. She's the one who helped me. Morong Hui said politely. Duke, we really dug the ore. The cheers of the Seeker Spirit Master came from over there. Morong Hui's face was overjoyed and he quickly rushed over. Seeing the real ore, he was also excited with everyone. With this, the strength of the Duke Manor could be improved a lot. Duke, from the stone skin of these ores, it seems that they are all old mineral veins, and the things inside should be more precious. If it's really as Miss said, it's tens of thousands of kilometers, then this is a priceless treasure. The Seeker Spirit Master held the ore that had just been opened and was very excited. Duke, the crystal stones have been opened. The miners ran over with some crystal stones. Duke, the lowest crystal stones we opened are middle grade, and there are many high-grade ones. The grade of this mineral vein is really good. We've just started mining, and there are already high-grade crystal stones. My vast region won't have to worry about it for the next few years. Morong Hui said with emotion. He didn't expect that there would be such a good mineral vein so close to Vast City. If it weren't for Sima Yue, they wouldn't have found it. Duke, we can't continue mining now. If we mine too much, the spiritual power will attract others. The Seeker Spirit Master said. Wait for the guards to come and then continue mining. Now everyone stay here first. Morong Hui ordered. Sima Yue watched them excitedly cover the ground back, and their faces were full of smiles, and she also smiled. Mu Chichi had been restrained by something, but now, her heart was soaring. Sima Yue walked over and said, Father, you stay here, I'll go look around. This mineral vein is definitely not the mineral vein that those people found, but since they will throw out such news, maybe there are other mineral veins around. I'll go with you. Morong Hui said. No need. Father still needs to preside over the overall situation here. I have little Z and little Meng, so I'll be fine. Sima Yue said. Murong Hui looked at little Z in her arms and didn't insist. He had seen little Z's power. Even if they encountered the inner underworld beasts, they might not be able to get close to them. Sima Yue left and walked towards the depths of Moon Creek Valley. In fact, there were no mineral veins here, otherwise, Mi-Er would be the first to sense it. She just wanted to see if there were any good medicinal materials here that could be used as snacks for Little Black to eat. Although it didn't want to eat. Moreover, she could solve some unnecessary problems on the way. After walking for a long time, she stopped and said, I'm so hungry, let's get something to eat. Little Black, go and catch a nether beast. Little Black knew how to eat, so it ran away like lightning, and soon ran back with a nether beast in its mouth, put it on the ground, and barked twice at Sima Yue, as if it was asking for credit. Sima Yue touched its head and praised, Little Black is so capable. It ran away happily. After running a few laps, it ran back and stayed by her side, watching her skillfully cut open the stomach of the nether beast, wash it and put it in the pot. Well, I'll start now, and it should be almost cooked when the matter is solved. She closed the lid. I say, you've been following me all the way, aren't you going to come out? Chapter 1803. The men in black hiding in the dark were all startled. They had always thought that they had hidden very well, but they did not expect to be discovered. They looked at the place where Sima Yue was. The terrain was wide and suitable for battle. Could it be that she had specially chosen this place? Still not coming out? As soon as Sima Yue's voice fell, a wave of spirit energy attacked the place where they were hiding. Although her strength was very weak, it still hurt when it hit them, right? Thus, they left the place and exposed themselves. Sima Yue sized up these people and said, The Dong family? Dong Qilian and Dong Qishuang sent you to kill me? She had not come into contact with many people after coming here. The only people who wanted to kill her were the Dong sisters. Since you know, then obediently hand over your life. The men in black did not waste any more words. Two of them directly attacked her. You're courting death. Little Meng stepped forward and condensed spirit energy, turning it into two whips. She wrapped the two of them and with a strong swing, the two of them were thrown far away. The two of them spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground without any signs of life. So strong. The men in black looked at Little Meng and became vigilant. They did not expect that other than the dog by her side, there was such a powerful person. They estimated each other's strength in their hearts and felt that they might not be able to defeat her. They all wanted to retreat. Want to escape? Little Meng shouted coldly and then lightly hummed. Sound waves spread out from her mouth. The men in black who were retreating paused. Then, they all hugged their heads and rolled back and forth on the ground. They were in great pain. Little Meng stopped humming and coldly looked at the people rolling on the ground. With your little strength, you dare to kill my Yu. She condensed spirit energy and turned it into swords. She flew towards those people and slashed their throats. Every one of them had a pained expression on their faces when they died. Even death did not seem to be able to release them. Sima Yue watched Little Meng deal with them cleanly and sighed, Our Little Meng is so powerful. It's not that I'm powerful, it's that your strength is too weak. They only sent some trash to kill you. Little Meng said honestly. Sima Yue, what happened to the love from before? How could he stab him in the back at this time? They looked like they were in pain. What did you do to them? Sima Yue asked curiously. It's nothing much. It's just making them hallucinate. Little Dream said. As for what kind of hallucination it was, she didn't need to say much. Yue could already guess. It was definitely not something good. Seeing the expressions of those people, she shrank her neck and silently lit a candle for those who had provoked Xiao Meng. Although Xiao Meng was usually the quietest when she was with Little Seven and Hua Hua, when she really got angry, her explosive power was not inferior to Little Seven's. Yu, are the things ready? Will it burn? Xiao Meng came to the side of the pot and called out when she saw that she was still standing there. How can it be burnt so easily? Sima Yue walked over. It's not cooked yet? Who asked you to move so quickly, taking care of all of them in just a few moves? It'll take a while to cook. I haven't eaten the food you made for a long time. Xiao Meng pouted. When she faced her, she was still a little like before. I'll make more for you today. Sima Yue smiled and took out some ingredients to make Xiao Meng's favorite food. Woof, woof, woof. Little Black barked at the side, reminding her not to forget about it. Go and eat the medicinal herbs. Xiao Meng grabbed Little Black's neck and threw it out. Little Black ran back, feeling wronged. It barked a few times at Xiao Meng, indicating that it was the one who had brought back the underworld beast. Sima Yue looked at Little Black and Xiao Meng and couldn't help but laugh. No matter when, the beasts got along with each other so lovingly. Little Purple narrowed its eyes at the side and looked at Xiao Meng and the others. It said in disdain, "Childish." This is not childish. This is the way they get along. Sima Yue explained to it, you didn't get along with them much before. You'll know slowly in the future. I'm the noble top-grade Purple Thunder. I won't do such a childish thing. Little Purple raised its chin proudly, its face full of disdain. Is that so? Sima Yue grabbed its 2 ears and hung it up. Noble top-grade Purple Thunder, why did you come into my body? Well, now you're tied to me. If it weren't for Qi Yan's despicable means, how could I be caught by you? Little Purple talked about its dark history and felt very stifled. No matter how we did it, you're caught by us now. Sima Yue flicked its head with her finger. Little Purple stretched out its claws to grab her, but she cleverly avoided it. Good, I'll make you delicious food. Sima Yue put it down, touched its head and said, well, for the sake of the delicious food, it won't argue with her for the time being. Sima Yue looked at it pretending to be calm when it was obviously hungry, and smiled. Soon, she prepared a large table of food. Little Purple was the first to jump on the table and began to eat. Little Meng, who was playing with Little Black, threw Little Black aside, sat at the table and began to eat. Although Little Black was thrown out, it ran back in the blink of an eye and sat right next to Sima Yue. Air had come out from her hand and sat next to Little Meng and began to eat. Sima Yue didn't eat much. Most of the time she watched Little Meng eat. Since they fell into a deep sleep, even the thought of cooking for them was extravagant. After the beasts finished eating, Sima Yue took them on the road. She threw Little Purple on Little Black. The cat and dog caught each other along the way. It was very lively. Yu, there are fighting sounds in front. Little Meng was a spiritual beast with strong spiritual power and was much more sensitive to the surrounding situation. When Sima Yue was hesitating whether to join in the fun or not, those people didn't give her time to think. A group of underworld wolves chased after a group of people. The people running in front were the 2 young ladies of the Dong family, followed by more than a dozen guards. The underworld wolves behind were those who were scared away by Little Purple. Sister, I can't run anymore. Why are these underworld wolves still chasing us? Dong Qishuang was so tired that she was out of breath, and her running speed was getting slower and slower. If it weren't for the underworld wolves chasing after her, she would have been paralyzed. If you don't want to die here, don't stop. Dong Qilian turned back and shouted. Seeing the underworld wolves chasing after them, her face darkened. Sima Yue looked at the people running over and the underworld wolves, and was happy. They were all acquaintances. Should she go and say hello? Chapter 1804. The first to notice them were the underworld wolves that were running in front. They suddenly stopped and those behind did not have time to react and all of them bumped into them. Dong Qilian and the others had been paying attention to the situation behind them and were surprised when they saw the underworld wolves stop. Then they saw Sima Yue standing in front of them. Why are you here? Why aren't you dead yet? Dong Qishuang shouted. Sima Yue shrugged. Are you so surprised to see me? You want to kill me with just the people you sent? Now is not the time to talk about this. Dong Qi Lian stopped Dong Qi Shuang. Sima Yue stood in front of them and blocked their escape route. Although she didn't know why the underworld Yin Wolf stopped and didn't know how she survived, if she used it well, she could let Sima Yu stop the underworld Yin Wolf's pace and take the opportunity to get rid of her. Awoo, the underworld Yin Wolves howled and those underworld Yin Wolves wanted to retreat. Sima Yu saw their intentions and said to them, "Hey, friends, I am not familiar with them. You don't have to care about me." The retreating steps stopped and the underworld Yin Wolves looked at her in confusion. Sima Yu smiled at them and said, "You don't have to worry, I am not with them. You can do whatever you want and just ignore me. I won't make a move." Murong Shi, what do you mean? Are you trying to bewitch these underworld Yin Wolves to kill us? Dong Qi Shuang shouted. Sima Yue nodded seriously, so you saw through it. It seems that I was too obvious. What? Only you can send people to kill me but I can't hit you when you are down? Sima Yue snorted. Besides, I didn't do anything. The underworld Yin Wolves wanting to kill you has nothing to do with me. I am just eliminating my factor. What's the difference? The difference is huge. Sima Yue curled her lips. If the underworld Yin Wolves leave like this, then wouldn't it be me who saved you? Hey, it makes me uncomfortable just thinking about it. The underworld Yin Wolves originally wanted to kill them. If they retreated because of her, then wasn't it because of her? Friends, you can continue. After she finished speaking, she took a few steps back with little Z in her arms. The underworld Yin Wolves looked at Sima Yue and were confused for a while before they rushed over again and surrounded the Dong Qi. Murong Shi, you actually dared to connive with the nether beast to kill us. Murong Shi, Sima Yue's back to the underworld Yin Wolves and Murong Shi to prevent them from sneak attacks. They didn't understand why the underworld Yin Wolf would suddenly listen to Sima Yue. What Yue Yin Yue? It wasn't me who planned for the underworld Yin Wolves to chase after you, nor was it me who led them to your place. There is no rule in this world that says we have to help when we see injustice. Sima Yue said, moreover, you sent people to kill me, and you still want me to help you. Are you too stupid and naive, or am I stupid? Chi, the underworld Yin Wolves were sure that she would not help these people, so they relaxed and attacked. The people Dong Qi Lian brought were not weak, but there were many underworld Yin Wolves and their strength was not low, so they were not their opponents at all. Soon, the Dong family's people were all killed. Even Dong Qi Lian wanted to use her trump card to escape, but she did not have time. Sima Yue watched from the side. Seeing their speed, she could not help but twitch the corner of her mouth. It had only been a few minutes, and there were not many intact corpses. How much hatred did they have? The Wolf King walked over and looked at Sima Yue, expressing his gratitude to her. Thank you. If she wanted to take action, they would not be able to take revenge. What did they do to you? Sima Yue asked curiously. They stole several of our cubs, and killed them all on the way to escape because they were in the way. The Wolf King said. Sima Yue wondered if they were stupid. The spirit beasts cared about their babies the most. If they were captured, then so be it, but they killed them on the way. It would be strange if they did not fight to the death with you. Well, she also killed their clansmen, but she had absolute strength. Little Z, they automatically ignored this matter. Then the underworld Yin Wolves left and returned to the depths of Moon Creek Valley. Xiaomeng came back after circling around and said, someone was nearby just now. Even you and I didn't notice? Sima Yue was a little surprised. The other party is very good at hiding his aura. Xiaomeng said, that person may have seen the underworld Yin Wolves killing these people. If it gets out, it may cause us trouble. Then there's nothing we can do. Sima Yue did not take this to heart. Even if the Dong family knew, she did not directly make a move. Could they still kill her? Even if they really wanted to be so shameless, she was not afraid of them. They ignored the corpses on the ground and continued to go deeper. On the way, they encountered some underworld beasts, but they were all beaten away by Xiaomeng. Soon, their group was included in the list of those who could not be offended. Woof woof woof, Xiao He suddenly barked and ran forward, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Xiao He! Sima Yue and Xiao Ming chased after it and followed it to the bottom of a cliff. There was a cold pool at the bottom of the cliff, and there was a beauty who had just come out of the cold pool. They still knew this beauty. Ugh, everything came unexpectedly. Sima Yue quickly closed her eyes and turned around with Xiao Ming. Well, I didn't know you were bathing here. I didn't mean to offend you. She apologized. Hua! Another sound of water came, and Yuan Yan's surprised voice came, Murong Shi? Why are you here? Sima Yue was embarrassed. 2 men in the cold pool? Forgive her for thinking wrongly. Emoji looked at Sima Yue's back, the corners of his mouth raised, and said, We didn't take off our clothes, what are you shy about? What? Sima Yue turned her head and saw that both of them were wearing clothes. It was just that Emoji's clothes were too loose, and when he came out of the water, his shoulders were exposed, making her think that he was bathing here. It turned out that she was mistaken. Thinking about the thoughts in her mind just now, she was a little embarrassed. Ahem, what are you doing in the cold pool? We are looking for something and it happens to be at the bottom of the pool. Yuan Yan explained. Woof woof woof, Xiao He barked at him twice. Yuan Yan didn't know what it meant, but Sima Yue knew. She walked over and hugged its neck, saying, That's someone else's treasure, you can't have any ideas about it. I'll find something else for you, okay? Yuan Yan looked at its eyes staring at him, and felt as if he was being stared at by the god of death, and his whole body turned cold. Chapter 1805. Just when Yuan Yan felt that he was about to be completely shrouded in darkness, that feeling suddenly disappeared. When he came back to his senses, he saw Sima Yue stretching out her hands to cover Xiao He's eyes. Xiao He, if you're not obedient, I don't want you. She threatened softly, and the aura on Xiao He's body suddenly loosened, and he returned to the silly and cute little black dog. The momentum just now seemed to have never existed. Yuan Yan touched his forehead, and the cold sweat mixed with the water of the cold pool, making him shudder unconsciously. Emoji looked at Xiao He with undisguised inquiry in his eyes. Sima Yue ignored the doubts and shock of the two, and smiled, You got a treasure at the bottom of the pool, right? My little dog nose is more sensitive, so I ran over. Ahem, don't worry, he won't rob you. Yuan Yan nodded blankly, This thing is what my family needs, and it's also the purpose of my coming to Vast City, so I can't give it up. It doesn't matter, whoever finds it belongs to whoever finds it. Sima Yue felt that this Yuan Yan seemed to be a little too easy to talk to. She didn't know that he was scared by Xiao He's eyes. The water of the cold pool is cold, do you want to come out first? Emoji and Yuan Yan came out of the water, the two mobilized their spiritual power, and the water on their bodies was quickly dried. Sima Yue took a piece of dried meat and teased Xiao He. Little Z was sleeping in Little Meng's arms, and the sun shone on them, making them feel warm. Emoji walked over, looked at Xiao He, who was no different from an ordinary dog, and said, Your dog is really special. Special? It's okay, it's just a little mutated in some places. Sima Yue laughed and changed the subject. I'm curious about what treasure you found. If I'm not mistaken, it should be a medicinal herb. It is indeed a medicinal herb. Emoji nodded, he didn't intend to say much about the Yuan family. Sima Yue smiled and continued to tease Xiao He. Yuan Yan came over and asked, Why did you come here? I heard that there are a lot of medicinal herbs here, so I wanted to try my luck and see if I could find anything rare. Sima Yue explained, but after looking around, I didn't find any rare medicinal herbs. There aren't many herbs here. Hearing her words, both Emoji and Yuan Yan smiled. Although there are few people here, it is not suitable for the growth of medicinal materials. In addition, there are many spirit beasts, so there are even fewer survivors. I see. I was wondering why I didn't see any good herbs. Sima Yue was enlightened. Since that was the case, there was no need for her to stay here any longer. We've found what we're looking for, so we're ready to go back. Are you with us? Yuan Yan said. Sima Yue looked at him. Was he inviting her to join him? Seeing her so surprised, Yuan Yen was a little uncomfortable and explained, "It's so dangerous here. It's better for everyone to go back together." "I just think so." Emoji face-bombed, explaining is tantamount to covering up, you know? He thought that Sima Yue would reject him, but she agreed after a short moment of consideration. Anyway, it was just on the way. Previously, she avoided the two of them because she was afraid of Emoji. In addition, she was also in a bad mood and was not in the mood to deal with him. Now that little dream has woken up, her mood has recovered a lot, and she is not so resistant to them. "Since we're all going back, let's go together. If we encounter any underworld beasts on the road, we can also rub some of your glory," she said with a smile. She has also experienced this Moon Creek Valley, and there were indeed many powerful underworld beasts. These two people dared to run deep without even bringing guards, which showed that they did have some skills. However, what made her even more curious was that Emoji's interest in her came too strangely. It was as if he had known about her for a long time. "Now that it's decided, let's go back." Yuan Yen looked at Sima Yue and said with a smile. They walked out of the valley. On the way, Sima Yue learned a lot about the situation of the Great Yu dynasty from Yuan Yen. She also learned about the status of the Yuan family and the status of vast region in the Great Yu dynasty. Although Murong Hui was appreciated by Wang Ye, this could not change the current situation of vast region's lack of resources. Wang Ye also wanted Murong Hui to go to other places to be a county king, but he was rejected by Murong Hui, and the specific reason was unknown to outsiders. There are more than 100 counties in the Great Yu dynasty, and vast region is ranked at the bottom. This time, Murong Hui also used all his strength to improve the status of vast region. Before I met you, I really didn't know that a person would change so much after losing his memory. If you were the same as before, I really wouldn't dare to contact you." Yuan Yen said. "I'm an exception." Sima Yue glanced at Emoji and said, "But I think after you changed your temperament, it's not bad to get along with. You can enter the Yuan family's industry in the future." Yuan Yen said with a slightly red face. "Okay, I'll go to your tea house for tea some other day." Sima Yue responded. "Good. Then I'll invite you to the tea house for tea some other day." Yuan Yen said with a smile, "The tea in our tea house has even been praised by Emoji's old ancestor." Emoji's old ancestor? It's that mysterious Lord Emoyu. Ahem, Emoji's old ancestor is Emoyu. What? Sima Yue looked at Emoji with a horrified expression. However, her horror was not the kind of horror that Yuan Yen understood from being frightened by Emoji's identity, but because of his relationship with Emoyu. "Yes, Lord Emoyu is my old ancestor." Emoji smiled at Sima Yue, and only she could understand the deep meaning of the smile. "Since you are the descendant of Lord Emoyu, where is your old ancestor?" Sima Yue asked. "That guy wouldn't still be around here, right? My old ancestor's whereabouts are erratic. I am just a little junior, so naturally I don't know where he is." Emoji said. Sima Yue breathed a sigh of relief. It's good that this guy is not here. Then she understood something, and stared at Emoji, asking him with her eyes. "You're not sent by him, are you?" Emoji raised his eyebrows. "You guessed right." Sima Yue face-bombed. This guy is really speechless. She asked him not to send anyone to follow her, so he let his younger generation approach her. Even if he was discovered by others in the future, if they investigated like this, they would only find out that he knew her because he was invited to vast region by Yuan Yen, and it would not arouse the suspicion of others. Why are you looking at him like this?" Yuan Yen was not happy that Sima Yue's attention was on Emoji, and he said aloud, "Ahem, I just came into contact with Lord Mo's younger generation for the first time, and I think it's strange." Sima Yue smiled. She glared at Emoji before withdrawing her gaze, and the threat in her eyes was strong. Since he knew her identity from the beginning, he still pretended to tease her and made her worry for a while. She would settle this account with him later. Chapter 1806. Awu. All of a sudden, the roars of various underworld beasts could be heard from the mountains. Sima Yue and the rest stopped joking around and looked in that direction cautiously. Soon, deafening footsteps approached them. Obviously, those nether beasts were coming for them. And judging from the sound, there were quite a few underworld beasts. Why did these underworld beasts suddenly riot? Yuan Yen heard the movement and clenched his fist. Sima Yue leaned over to Emoji and Yuan Yen and sniffed, then her face sank and she said, "We were set up." "What's wrong?" Yuan Yen raised his arm and sniffed, and there was nothing strange about it. "There's a very faint floral scent on your bodies. You're not sensitive to smells, so you can't smell it." Sima Yue said, "This is a refined dragon luring flower. If you sprinkle a little on your body, it will cause the underworld beasts to riot." Dragon luring flower. Hearing this name, the faces of Emoji and Yuan Yen also changed. They sniffed carefully again, and sure enough, they smelled a faint floral fragrance on them. Because they were in a forest, the air was filled with the fragrance of various flowers. If one didn't pay special attention to it, they wouldn't notice it at all. They had also heard of the dragon luring flower before. This kind of flower fragrance would cause the spirit beasts in the vicinity to lose their minds. They would attack anyone they saw. Even if it was a sacred beast, if one's will was not firm, it would be easy for them to be confused. "We haven't been in contact with anyone since we arrived at Moon Creek Valley. How did we get this?" Yuan Yen was puzzled. "You were safe and sound before. I think that this flower fragrance should have been scattered on the surface of the water when you dived into the cold pond. When you come out of the water, you will naturally get it." Sima Yue guessed. "Yuan Yen, do you have any enemies?" Yuan Yen wanted to say no, but thinking of his own family, he sighed and said, "There are indeed many people in the family who want me to die." "That makes sense." Sima Yue remembered that when the underworld Een Wolf killed the Dong sisters, the person who didn't find any traces, maybe that person came to kill Yuan Yen and happened to see them. With so many nether beasts, it will be difficult for us to deal with them. Emoji said, "Listening to this movement, I'm afraid there are hundreds of powerful nether beasts. Did you bring any hidden guards?" Sima Yue asked. Yuan Yen shook his head. "We can't bring hidden guards when we come out for experience. If he wanted to do something, he could only rely on his own abilities. Of course, being able to get help from friends was also one of his abilities. The guards that came with me also stayed in Vast City because they came in a hurry." Sima Yue's lips twitched. Were these rules specially prepared for assassins? A dignified young master like you actually didn't bring a few powerful hidden guards with you when you went out. Wouldn't killing you be as easy as flipping one's hand? Yuan Yen understood Sima Yue's gaze and explained, "Only those who can grow up in such an environment can be useful to the family. No matter what, it's best to survive." "All right. Your family..." "I can't judge, but what are we going to do now?" Sima Yue said, "Can the two of you defeat so many nether beasts?" Both of them shook their heads. It was okay to deal with a few or a dozen, but they didn't have the ability to fight against half of the Moon Creek Valley. They were conceited that they had some skills, but they didn't expect that there would be a situation where half of the Moon Creek Valley's nether beasts would unite. Sima Yue held her forehead. "I originally thought that I could take advantage of you by going with you, but I didn't expect it to be a big trouble. You haven't touched the water of the cold pool, and you don't have the dragon luring flower on you, so you should separate from us, so that the nether beasts won't chase you," Yuan Yen said. Sima Yue looked at him and sighed. "It's useful for you to say this earlier. Now that those nether beasts have locked onto me, it doesn't matter whether I have the dragon luring flower or not. I didn't expect that we would drag you down in the end." Yuan Yen looked at her apologetically. He originally invited her to leave the Moon Creek Valley with the intention of protecting her, but he didn't expect that she would bring such a big trouble. "It's too late to say this now." Sima Yue said, "Do you two have any ideas?" "Fight to the death." Emoji saw Sima Yue's disapproving gaze and said with a smile, "That's impossible." "What can you do?" Sima Yue asked. "Of course, of the 36 stratagems, leaving is the best." Emoji took out a temporary array and activated it. Let's go, let's see if their speed is faster or our array is faster. Sima Yue looked at the array. If the three of them go in, they can leave for 1,000 kilometers at a time. If they come a few more times, they can also temporarily get rid of those nether beasts. She took back Little Dream and the others to reduce the load of the teleportation array. Emoji and Yuan Yen discovered that Little Dream was also one of her contracted beasts. How much strength did she have? She could contract so many nether beasts. The two were curious, but now was not the time to study this. The three stepped into the teleportation array and disappeared in front of the nether beasts before they came. Woo woo, the nether beasts who had lost their minds were stunned for a while. They couldn't think now, but they were puzzled by the situation in front of them. Oh, a nether beast let out a long roar and continued to chase in the direction of the exit with the other nether beasts. That direction was the direction where Sima Yue and the others left. As soon as the three of them came out of the teleportation array, they heard a roar coming from behind. This dragon luring flower is really powerful. Even if we are in the teleportation array, we can't stop the fragrance of the flower from spreading in the air. Yuan Yen sighed. The reason why the dragon luring flower is called the dragon luring flower is that even the dragon race can't resist its smell. This is also a refined flower fragrance. Using it here is a waste of talent. Sima Yue said, "Let's go." Emoji opened another temporary teleportation array, and the three of them went in and soon disappeared. When the nether beasts chased after them, the aura of the remaining three people disappeared. Oh, the leading one sniffed in the air, found the right direction, and chased after them with the nether beasts. In this way, the three of them fled, and the nether beasts chased after them. Later, more and more nether beasts joined in the chase. The vibration in the inner circle of Moon Creek Valley shocked those who were guarding outside, and they all guessed if something had happened in the inner circle. At first, Emoji and the others planned to escape outside, but after finding that they couldn't get rid of the nether beasts, they had no choice but to run in other directions. If these nether beasts were lured out, they were afraid that those people outside would die. When they came out of the teleportation array again, the three of them saw a familiar place, and they couldn't help but twitch the corners of their mouths. Wasn't this the cold pond where they fell into the dragon luring flower? They didn't expect to come back to this place after going around in circles. There's something. Emoji opened his mouth, and when he heard his tone, Yuan Yen had a bad premonition in his heart. Chapter 1807. Emoji sighed and said, "I don't have a temporary teleportation array anymore." Without the temporary teleportation array, they could no longer use this method to escape. Strange, why are those nether beasts attacking us and not coming here? Yuan Yen looked at the cold pool and thought that when they were at the bottom of the pool, someone actually sprinkled dragon luring flowers on it, and he was furious. The dragon luring flower is useless in water. Only when it's on a person's body and mixed with the person's body temperature can its fragrance be stimulated. Sima Yue explained. Suddenly she paused. She looked at the cold pond and smiled. "I have an idea." By the time the underworld beasts chased after them, the figures of the three people were no longer at the edge of the cold pond, and the water surface was still rippling. Sima Yue and the other two came to the bottom of the pool, and Emoji's spiritual power circle wrapped around her to prevent her from being frostbitten by the cold air of the cold pool. The two of them were immersed in the water. "Are we going to stay under the water?" Yuan Yen asked. It was fine for a short period of time, but as time passed, they would also suffer. The water can block out the fragrance of the dragon luring flower. They will no longer be confused by the fragrance. They will wake up after a while and leave this place. Sima Yue said. "And after that? If we go out again, we'll smell the flowers again. If we go out again, won't we provoke those nether beasts again?" Sima Yue tilted her head and thought for a while. She then pointed at the bottom of the cliff. "Get out of here?" Sima Yue nodded. The surface of the cold pond looked very small, but the bottom of the pond was very wide. There seemed to be a cave in one place. Perhaps there really was a path that led to another place. "Then let's give it a try." Emoji took Sima Yue and swam over there. Yuan Yen followed closely behind. They swam all the way forward and swam for almost a few hundred meters. The space in front of them was getting smaller and smaller. They couldn't tolerate two people walking side by side. Emoji had to walk in front by himself, let Sima Yue walk in the middle, and Yuan Yen walk behind. After walking for a few hundred meters, the path ahead gradually widened, and the three of them could finally walk side by side. It's wide here again, let's go up and take a look. Yuan Yen pointed to the top of his head. It was dark up there, and he didn't know what was going on up there. Emoji took Sima Yue upstream. After swimming for nearly 100 meters, they finally approached the surface of the water. Hua! 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 The three of them got out of the water, and Emoji and Yuan Yen subconsciously reached out to wipe the water on their faces. Suddenly, they felt a hot air blowing on their faces. When they opened their eyes, they saw a huge face in front of them. That hot air was just the other party's breath. Sima Yue was in the middle and her body was already stiff. She blinked and didn't dare to move. She looked at him and said, "Well, we accidentally barged in. Please don't be angry." Her hot breath hit his face. She made his nerves tense. Emoji and Yuan Yen were also stunned. The face was a little further away, and they all saw its gaze clearly. Black dragon? Yuan Yen wanted to cry but had no tears. How could they be so lucky to encounter a rare black dragon? This was a huge cave. The black dragon's body was still on the shore. After seeing Sima Yue, it stuck its head out of the water and looked at her closely. Now that it had left them, they recognized its identity. Who? The black dragon's head hung down again and came to Sima Yue. It stuck out its tongue and licked her face and then rubbed it on her face. Sima Yue's body was even stiffer. Who could tell her what was going on? Was she being molested by a dragon? Yu, you're finally here. The black dragon wrapped around her body a few times and rolled her up into the air. Sima Yue was so scared that she quickly hugged its body. That, Shenlong? You put me down, I'm dizzy. Sima Yue asked when she saw that it didn't mean to hurt her. This guy didn't seem to be hurt now, but if he let her go later, she didn't know if she would die or be disabled. The black dragon didn't seem to hear her words. Suddenly, a pair of wings opened on its back, and after putting her on its back, it flew up in the cave. As it flew, it shouted, and the sound penetrated the mountain and spread all the way to the outside. All the beasts in Moon Creek Valley were stunned, and then they all crawled in this direction. The king woke up, and all the beasts worshipped him. Sima Yue didn't know anything about the situation outside. She only knew that this guy seemed to be very happy, and his voice sounded cheerful. It seemed that he had no intention of throwing her down. Listening to it, she also laughed, reached out and hugged the black dragon's body, and pressed her body against its back. Yuan Yen and Emoji looked up at the one person and one beast in the air. Yuan Yen pinched his shoulder and murmured, "It doesn't hurt, I really have hallucinations." Emoji was a little calmer than him. He patted off the hand pinching his arm and said, "You pinched me, of course it doesn't hurt." Yuan Yen realized that he was not pinching himself at all. It seems that the black dragon doesn't intend to hurt her. Let's go ashore first. If we continue to freeze, our bodies won't be able to stand it. Emoji said as he walked towards the shore. After going ashore, he dried the water vapor on his body. Yuan Yen also followed, and after the two of them fiddled with themselves, the black dragon landed with Sima Yue. Ang! The black dragon let Sima Yue go down, and with a shake of his body, he turned into a little black dragon more than 1 meter long, rubbing against Sima Yue's body. What's going on? Sima Yue stroked the little black dragon's head and said, "I don't know either. It's also the first time I've seen it. It seems to have mistaken me for someone else." "Yu, don't you remember me?" The little black dragon said aggrievedly, "I have been passing down from generation to generation, just waiting for you to come back." "Black dragon, are you sure you're not mistaken? I'm not the person you're waiting for, am I? It's my first time here." Sima Yue said. "How is that possible? I can't be mistaken." The black dragon was so excited that it bit Sima Yoyue's arm. Sima Yue only felt a force drilling into her body, and then a picture appeared in her mind. In the picture, there was a woman and a little black dragon. Everything was so clear. Later, the woman left, and the little black dragon waited for her here, but it didn't see her until it died. Before it died, it sealed its memory into the body of the next generation, becoming an inheritance. From generation to generation, until now, this little guy was waiting for her. And that woman was the woman who had entangled with the Azure Wave's emperor. The black lotus on her back and the black lotus on her hand were also connected to her. She didn't expect to meet a black dragon who had been waiting for her here. Why are you? Seeing Sima Yoyue's face was a little ugly, Yuan Yen wanted to come over and support her, but was blocked by a black light. Contracted. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.